Spaceship Music Collective. This is Sick Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Dom Maple. Welcome everybody to Sick Set Bro Live. We are live. It's Wednesday night. It's Humpin' Day, and you might recognize, or not recognize, a face on your screen. If you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, then you don't know yet. It's always a mystery. It's a mystery whenever you're on audio. You don't know who's here. You don't know what's going on. I'm Dom Maple. I'm going to be your host. I'm a little indie musician boy. And I'm joined by my brother, the Hungry Ghost, although around here we like to call him Money Mike. Cash register noise. And usually we have some weird guy that does the show with us. We don't really know where he came from, but he's not here tonight. He's working hard. He got called in last minute, action hero. I was trying to think of like a funny thing of what his job could be, but I can't think of anything. Spy. Called in last minute spy for some sort of secret ops. So he's not here, although he may unexpectedly join us later on. Who knows? Not really sure. But who we do have in place of our last member, Andrew, we have a special guest with us tonight. He is a member of Civil Simian, who are an alternative bunk. That
you're creating new genres like me, yeah. Now. It's fudge punk all over again.
Yeah. Alternative bunk. That's what he plays, because I was thinking that you're the bass player in that band at the same time as trying to say funk. So Sean plays alternative bunk in Civil Simian. And he also runs shows over at BGO Productions. We're going to talk about what all that means, all the great things. Also, he's releasing a solo EP. The guy doesn't stop. But everybody, welcome Sean McCann to the show. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you, too kind.
Yeah, man, we've been talking about getting you on the show for like so long. Like I feel like
it's crazy that it's taken this long.
Yeah, from like way back, we're like, we need to get Sean on, or we need to get Civil Simian on, because we always talk about how much we love Civil Simian's music, or how much we love going to a BGO production gig, and it's like we talk about it that much. We never had you on. I don't know why. But things get in the way. Life gets in the way.
It is very surreal being on the show, having watched multiple episodes.
It's always funny to me, because people say stuff like that, and I mean, I don't get it, obviously, because I'm always on the show. Maybe I should go off the show one week and then come on as a guest. I've always said we should do that, and I come on as Dom Maple, and there's like a guest host, and then you can just interview me like I don't do the show every week.
It would give you a break.
Yeah, although I don't think I would be too good at losing control of the show. I need a button. I would still have the soundboard there, and I would just be like pressing things all the time. I wouldn't be able to stop pushing buttons like that. It's like a nervous tick. Speaking about having a break though, because I was just thinking this, I was just like, I wonder how Sean's doing, because he does so much, and it's like coronavirus just seems like it was the good Lord being like, Sean, take a break. We're gonna put the whole world on hold. It's gonna be awful. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is you as Moses on the hill, by the way. But I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be great. But you know what? You're doing these shows. You're playing bass in bands. You're doing this solo record. We're just gonna need you to take a little bit of a break.
Sit down, buddy.
Yeah.
So I developed coronavirus, COVID-19,
to force you to take a break.
Yeah, it was just for you. So I feel we all need a public apology, Sean. Right now.
I'm very, very sorry. COVID, totally my fault, guys.
Yeah, 100%. But how's the old lockdown been? How you been feeling? It's shit on my end, like. But let me know how you getting on.
The first maybe 3 or 4 weeks, actually, it's probably long enough. It's the first 6 weeks. It it was like I'm getting a break. You know, I'm being forced to take a break from doing everything, and then it went dramatically downhill after that point. I ended up having a few panic attacks back to back. I basically just hadn't been facing the fact that playing music, putting on gigs is basically has been my life for quite a long time now. So not having those two things deeply impacted me, but also gave me a kick up the arse to try and do stuff for myself. We also, Civil Simian recorded, I think it was 3 or 4 songs while we were in lockdown. So,
and do you think that do you think that would have came about as quickly if you guys didn't have that time? You know, because you're putting on all the shows and everything else. Do you think that kind of allowed a bit of space for Civil Simian to get back together and do stuff, or was that all stuff that was in progress anyways?
It was in progress, but I don't think we would have got it out as quickly as we did if it hadn't have been for lockdown. I think it, because obviously we were used to seeing each other all the time for band practices and playing gigs, and we went from that to not seeing each other at all. So gave us something to focus in on, and keep in contact with each other and keep working on stuff over that period.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, God, I've talked about stuff. People are sick of hearing me talk about things from lockdown. I talk about COVID way too much on the show, but I mean, it's in our lives every fucking day, so you have to. But it's I totally I get where you're coming from. It's like one of those things where at the start it was almost and I don't say this lightly, but a novelty a little bit. If you were not tragically affected by it, it was kind of like things are different, right? Okay, it's like, oh, things are closed, or if you're in work, it's like, oh, get some time off. But it all of a sudden starts changing into that time off is maybe not ever going back to work because you lose your job, and things start getting serious. More and more people are dying, and it starts getting on top of you. Not to mention what you're saying is like the things that define you as a person that you do with your life just seem to fade away. There's so much that you can't do anymore. And I know, like, sorry, go ahead.
There is some kind of positivity in that, though. I think no matter what happens, eventually after it's impacted you kind of need to reframe how you're looking at things. So yeah, I mean, it was and still is horrible to not be able to do those things, but it gave me a lot of time to focus on doing different things. I started learning how to video edit. Just started getting into D&D, which has actually been fantastic. Just as being able to meet up with your friends and create this story out of effectively nothing, but together, and having that to focus on every week. It got to the point where we were just like, I can't wait till the next session.
I know.
I was gonna say, like, I kind of tend to agree with you, Sean. It's a weird thing where it's like there was an awful lot of time, but like you could use it in a positive way, in that like what you're saying there is like you take stock of what is really important to you, and it probably reaffirmed for you then, as you were saying, like how important music and how important putting shows and stuff on was to you. And it's like you can learn extra periphery skills that will, whenever everything's open back up, the floodgates open and you're rushing back into shows, it's like you're coming back like even better than before because you've had that sort of downtime. I definitely found a lot of that as well myself personally over the last couple of months, like too, with all the like you're saying about video editing and stuff, and I've been mucking about with animation and all as well, and it's just it's skills that you wouldn't have had time to really, it's always been an interest, but it's so time consuming, and it's like, where do you get the time whenever you're so busy doing all these other things? So it's been interesting, but
what
without its challenges.
I can't stop thinking about though, Mike, whenever you send me not that, like, man, Mike is getting really good at doing the animation stuff, like, and he keeps sending me a thing because he's been working on a walking animation for like so long. But it's cracking me up because, like, I don't know if you've ever watched Parks and Recreation, but Mike, do you remember that the thing where Ben is out of work and then he works on motion animation?
How
He works
long
on
does
it
it
for
take
like
to do one thing?
He does
Yeah.
it for months, and then it's like he goes to play it back, and it's literally just somebody getting out of bed and walking like 3 steps, and it's the end. And he's like, "That's all I've got." It's like, that's Mike, and he's been working on a walking animation for like friggin' months and months, like the last year in lockdown.
I swear
he's
to
gonna have
God.
the perfect walk eventually.
That is entirely it. See, at the start, that was exactly what it was. I'm talking about weeks to get like even the crappiest like walk across the screen. But the other night, that latest one that I put up, I know we're kind of off base here, and not everybody will have seen it on my Instagram, but I put up one the other night of like a guy dressed as a ghost walking.
Yeah.
That literally took me one night to do. So
Wow.
I'm definitely
Oh, you're
I'm getting
faster.
quicker at it.
Yeah.
Was it
totally.
just speeding up because you're getting used to the process then, or?
It's like everything else that you learn how to do. It's like video editing as well. There's like about 100 different ways that you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And obviously like you're Googling and like looking up tutorials and everything else. So early on I'd went down this one road, which there was a cost to it because you needed like Adobe software as well.
Ooh.
It's not Photoshop,
steep.
it's like the video one, but they do like a monthly trial or like a monthly subscription thing. So I was like, I'll get it for a month and see if I can learn it. And it seemed really cool, but it was like you were rigging up like a skeleton and stuff, which you would
Yeah.
have to move and stuff then. So I kind of got frustrated with how long it was taking. And then more recently I looked up like there's other ways to do this. So it's literally free software and you're actually doing it like digitally, but the way that like old animators would do, you're just drawing frame by frame. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm so much quicker at that because like I know where I want to get to instead of like rigging up a whole skeleton and then trying to do all that other sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
it's like it's having the time to do all this research whenever you're trying to learn yourself and you're not doing classes or anything. There's no way I would have got to that point if I didn't have this spare time to be wasting my life googling this stuff and spending weeks to get like a 2-second walk. But yeah,
It's also
I don't know
really
what I'll
handy
use
now.
this skill for, like, but
It's also really handy now because YouTube is the perfect resource if you want to learn how to do anything.
So, yeah,
that's
yeah, totally.
for video editing. It was like 10-minute video to do one simple thing, or the 1.5-minute version. You're like, oh, right, I'll go for the 1.5-minute version. It's like, oh, that was easy.
that's the
I
thing.
know.
I don't know where we would have been before because I'm such a visual learner, and it's like the fact that
Yeah.
you can just type in it. It's like, how do you do whatever? And it's like somebody will be there to show you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like thinking of this the other day. I was like, man, I probably would have got like way better grades at school if I was going to school
Right
now.
enough, actually.
Because
yeah.
like you see the amount of stuff that maybe I wasn't learning from a textbook or in the class like
Yeah.
properly. I definitely could have found a video eventually that was like, oh, I get it now. Like, it's not for lack of trying whenever I was at school, but like you say,
Yeah.
you can have different kinds of learners.
Well, that's
Um,
I was like that with music theory. Had a very, very basic understanding of it whenever I was in school and studying music. In fact, used to fall asleep in the music theory classes on a regular basis.
don't
And
blame
now
you.
YouTube has made it a lot simpler to
very
understand.
much depends on the material and the teacher and all as well. And if you don't have somebody who is engaging or anything or makes it exciting,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
weird. It's weird how like potentially somebody who could really flourish in a certain area, even if it isn't music, could like literally just be let down by like the person that's meant to be there encouraging them into
Yeah.
those fields.
Well, that's it, man. I mean, I didn't do music further than I had to in school. Like, didn't do it at an A level. Didn't do it as a GCSE even. Like, the minute I could give it up, I gave it up. And not for, like, lack of not wanting to do it or anything. Like, I love music. I was still playing guitar, like, back then, but I knew that the class just wasn't for me because it's not really what I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wasn't interested in theory. I've only ever owned one book on music theory ever, and I used it whenever I first started playing guitar to learn what the chords were, and then didn't read the rest because it was really long. And yeah, I have just like learnt music through bits and pieces over time, like as in theory wise, because I was doing a lot of things without knowing what it was I was doing. And then it was more from working with people, I think, made it interesting for me, especially people who had that knowledge, you know, like Adam Weston, who, you know, performs under the Sasha name. And God, he taught me half of what I know about music theory. And it's just because of whenever, like, we've been playing together since we were kids, I used to, like, I maybe bring something to him, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool, what you did there." And I'm like, "What did I do?"
What
Because
did
I
I
don't know.
explain it to me?
What is it? And he's like, "The dissonance between those notes is really cool because it's like," and I was like, "Cool, I didn't know. I didn't mean to do that. All right. That's awesome though. Thank you for telling me that. Now I know it." And yeah, that's how I would pick stuff up. But I was never one of those like whatever. It was very cliquey in our school for like going to music class. You had to like be part of the orchestra, and I didn't want to do that. And they kind of got like exclusive use of like the music, like the area, which was all very modern. Like it was new, and they had all these new keyboards, but they didn't want people to fucking touch them. It's like, we got all this stuff for the kids. It's like, don't touch it. It's fucking new, but don't touch it. We don't want you in there. It's locked at lunch and stuff, and you're just like, well, good job encouraging the kids to go play music.
Yeah,
I mean, because I could have just sat in there for hours playing on the keyboards, and I would have had a blast. But it's like, no, we're locking it. You're not allowed in. I was like, why?
I mean, even whenever I was doing music in secondary school, I didn't do it at GCSE either. But I distinctly remember doing keyboard class, and it was always like, here's a specific piece, learn how to play it. But they didn't realize that they'd put keyboards in that had music pre-programmed into it. So while everybody else was learning how to play the piece, I was sitting learning how to play Another Day in Paradise, I think was one of the songs that was programmed in on it. Just playing the melody line, and then got caught and got a severe bollocking for it. And like, oh, right.
It would be like, look, it came on. I thought it was part of the curriculum. I remember ours had the God, what's that song called? Like the first pre-programmed song was that it was a Sting song, Englishman in New York. It was like the first one that came on every single time. I don't think I'd ever heard that song before, like using one of those keyboards in school. And I was just like, what the hell is this, Englishman in New York? It sounded made up. I thought it was one of them stupid, like, you know, we've just invented this song for scales or something. I was like, oh no, it exists. You know, I actually feel pretty jealous as well, because you guys are like talking about all these like you know, I find myself in lockdown, gained some new skills. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
You had a child?
That's true. That's true. But
you're probably learning far more skills than either of us are.
Actually, properly essential skills too, like how to be a dad. It's something you can actually use.
I kind of you get forced into that whenever you have a kid. Like, I mean, it's do or die, you know, sink or swim. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like
Sean,
we went into lockdown and then I was just like, oh, what am I gonna do with my time now? Let's have a baby. I have all this spare time now. Let me take it all away immediately, forever. That was not my plan though.
No.
But yeah, no other skills. Like, I've just been doing the same thing. If anything, I'm doing less now, I think. Although in a similar way to what you said for you know, Civil Simian, like getting ahead and bringing those songs out. I think it's just been a game changer for the way that we do the podcast, because we had to adapt. We had to come up with a new way, and it's been like evolving ever since we started it. But like, to me, this is the way it fits into all our schedules. If you want a guest on like yourself, it fits into their schedule. It's something everyone can do from home. Not that I don't enjoy being in the same room as people, but it brings a lot of issues. It's insane trying to get everyone together
in the
at
room
the same
to start
time.
with, let alone all the technical stuff. And you're literally, we were setting it up in a living room that's not really like a live space that's made for it, sort of thing. So it came with challenges, but as you say, it was fun to be in the same room with people, and it was a different energy. But it's so cool.
It was a risk every time. But there's like an episode that we never aired because the audio didn't work and one of the cameras cut out halfway through. So it was just, we never got to do that episode, and it's like that sucks because we had people on the show and we couldn't air it.
Good too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good one.
So that's not the kind of risk I thought you'd meant. I thought it's
Oh,
like
As in,
a
like,
liability guest.
Crazy people coming to my house. Yeah, there was a bit of that too.
That's
but
happened also. Yeah, there was that
we
time.
lucked out most of the time.
There was that time we did the thing and we're like, fucking, why did we not do this with the cameras on? Where we had the Romeo Indigo Romeo guys round.
Yeah.
And for like, I think it was maybe for Christmas one year, I got Andy, who always does the show with us. I got him that hot sauce, the bomb from Hot Ones,
Right.
the YouTube show, and it's always like the worst one that everybody does. So I was like, I'm
yeah.
gonna buy this for him, so I had to order it online. It got like shipped over, and it is insanely hot. I learned that night, but for some reason we didn't do it on the show. We did it after the show, and I was like, why the fuck did we do this? Not even for camera footage.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, I felt like I seen the universe or something after that, because like I dipped the tiniest bit onto like a Dorito, and then I ate it, and I was like washing my mouth out in Mike's sink for the next 30 minutes. Like, that's no joke. He had like a thing in the fridge. The only milk he had, because like he never bought milk, was like oat milk. His
I
girlfriend
don't
had,
drink
so I
tea
was
or
just like,
coffee or anything.
I was like, I chugged a liter of oat milk, and
That
then
didn't
just
help.
had the tap on, and I was there, no joke, like 20 to 30 minutes constantly, and it just wouldn't go away. And for some reason, that changed me forever, where I was never a huge fan of spicy food, and then I've like had this urge inside to like have spicy stuff all the
Needs to
time.
be hotter.
It changed me.
You've broken yourself. That's like
That's what I thought. I was like, it activated some taste buds I didn't know I had, and then it was just like, yeah, I just wanted like 50,000 jalapenos on my pizza from now on. Like
By
whenever I get a pizza.
By activated, do you mean killed? A couple of taste
Well, I
buds.
don't know. Well, I mean, if maybe it
I can't
killed
taste
them
it
and
anymore. It doesn't taste hot anymore.
it killed them, and it was just like, I can't taste the flavor anymore. So I need to up the ante of everything. That makes sense. That's
So
probably what
imagine if
happened.
we had that all on a podcast episode. That would have been a great episode.
Weren't we filming? Why did we do it after?
I honestly
it makes
think
zero sense.
it should have been policy that we filmed as soon as the guests walked through the door, because
just leave the
Taylor-
cameras running.
Yeah.
Taylor Johnson came one time before, and he was going to like a pretty big gig or something. Brand new friend were playing afterwards, and he had a wee bowl of cereal and everything with him. That
He
guy
did,
was just
he- yeah, he
constantly
had
on the move.
cereal
I'm
and
like,
stuff,
we,
yeah.
we should be filming
Should have
this
been
as
filming
well.
that. He was like constantly on the go, so he was just
Chatting
eating
away,
cereal
I haven't
while
eaten
doing
anything
the
yet,
show.
guys. He brought in a box of cereal with him.
Yeah, that was rock star
Legend.
shit. That was. Yeah, that was crazy. But no, for skill wise, I have learned nothing and have gotten lazier and gained more weight. So that's kind of been my lockdown.
You used your time well.
I use my time to eat more food.
You're doing a lot of the production work. Like, I'm sure you've gotten better at that.
No.
No?
Yes.
No, you'll hear my next EP that comes out will be absolute trash. Getting worse, spending less time on things. I did actually say that. I told my wife recently that I've already named my I have a second album in the works that I do think will be really good and I'm working really hard on, but I really want to release something super quick afterwards. I'll release that album and then years in the making, a year and a half of work, and then 1 week later I'm gonna release the most trashiest, terrible thing that I've ever released in my life. And what was I gonna call it? I forgot. I quoted it the other day. I was just like, just leave me alone and let me hate everything I've ever created. And that will be the title.
That's the title. That's
Yeah,
actually a great title.
Something
Sounds like
that.
sounds like a math rock song.
Oh yeah, just let me hate myself and everything I've created. And then I was like, and I already know the first song's gonna be called hashtag Sledgehammer Murder. That's a long story. I think 3 projects ahead, Sean. You need to understand. I don't have the second album complete yet, but I'm working on the third album right now.
You've a lot more forethought than I do. Then.
way
Kinda
too much.
Yeah.
I go too far ahead. And then I don't get the stuff finished now that I need to do. Yeah, I'll talk about it when the time comes. But hashtag Sledgehammer Murder. Look out for that in like 3 years.
3
It'll
years.
come out and it will be
I'll hold you to
awful.
that.
It'll come. It'll come eventually. If I have an idea, it's not going anywhere.
I was gonna say, while you were in the realm of talking about like production and stuff, and working on stuff, all the Civil Simian stuff that came out there recently, I take it you guys there was a lot of like remote work and stuff. How
Yeah.
did you like sending stuff back and forth and all? How did you find that? Did you find it a hindrance? Did you find it? I'm asking because me and Stu worked on a track together, and I actually found it to be quite efficient. Like bouncing stuff back and forth. It did help that we were using the same DAW, because Stu, like I'm not great with production, so Stu was trying to teach me some stuff before lockdown hit. So we were on the same thing, so we could literally just send full project files back and forth, and he could work on stuff after I'd worked on stuff. I imagine that it works better for some people than others. What did you think of working remotely with the guys?
It was interesting. I think that we'd already got the drums recorded beforehand anyway, so and everybody else in the band was capable of recording at home themselves. For the singles we released, though, I think Marty did the first one or the first two himself, and then we decided that we were going to start splitting up the legwork on it. So I was doing production for one of the tracks, and he did production on another one, just so that we were spreading the workload. And we both are using different DAWs.
Oh man.
So we were transferring
Not quite as easy,
huge piles of stems to each other and going, yeah, there you go, work away on that, you know.
Amazing.
So efficient wouldn't be the word I would use for it, but it was, considering I didn't have anything to do. It was I had plenty of time to sit and go through stem after stem and put them in place, and it was great fun. Actually, I really enjoyed getting to do production again.
Yeah, I suppose that's something that's quite time consuming as well. So it's like another good pastime, hobby thing to pass the time, like during this whole thing, you know. But yeah, I mean, the stuff that came out, by the way, sounded like really good, like amazingly good. Like you wouldn't have known that it was done in like separate locations, like all over the place. Like it came together really well. I
think we made a strong point of, recorded in lockdown.
Yeah, I know.
Because
so
that became the tagline for all bands for a while.
I was gonna say, so many people said they would do it and then did not do it. But you did. You committed. So did I, man. So did I. Said I'd do something in lockdown. I did 2 EPs, man. Still working on a second album though. I knew that wasn't gonna come out. That's too much work. Gonna take too long. But yeah, I mean the singles were great. Like, I mean, we talked about it a couple of times on this show. It's like, oh, this is like a new marketing strategy for Civil Simian. It was kind of like a single once a month, and it's like, do we just get this forever now, or that would be awesome.
We would have loved to do that, to be honest. We've quite a lot of music now. I think we've got 3 EPs that we wanted to put out this year, but life got in the way. Various things sort of happened for people, so we're slowly working our way through it. But yeah.
Was that sort of a conscious decision then? Because for anybody that doesn't know Civil Simian as well, you guys kind of started like your music career by dropping like an amazing, incredible first album, but
yeah,
is this like a change of strategy because you had 4 songs there ready and it was like drip feed so that you constantly have something on the go? Was that something you were thinking about, or did it just happen that way? Or
no, we were quite conscious of it, and I think that we'd said, like, okay, we need to keep the momentum going, we need to keep releasing stuff, otherwise, because we don't post that often on our social media pages or anything like that unless there's something specific to post about for the band. So for us it was a great way to just keep the momentum going, and it definitely worked for us in terms of getting more people to hear the music that we were making.
Seemed to reach a bit better.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I know. I mean, God, don't even like. I took this year to like come to the conclusion that I absolutely despise Facebook and just got off of it. I'm like, I'm done. But it is a problem of like running music pages, running this collective page, all the stuff that you have to promote. And I was like, I have to stay on it to some degree, but I was like, I'd take all my normal profile stuff off because I just can't be asked anymore.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what the last straw was, but there was something I seen that I was just like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to see all this shit and just, I'm done.
I think that the last year has had that impact on quite a lot of people, because people have been on social media a lot, well, yeah, probably a lot more than they would have been beforehand. And there are a lot of shitty opinions out there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If people posted their opinions before lockdown, there must have been like a 10 billion% increase on the amount of useless opinions going up
for sure,
for no reason.
But for actual important things now, not just like, you know, I don't know, the pointless things that people used to argue about before.
All the Facebook scientists and stuff coming on now.
Yeah, that's whenever it got like a bit
actual
too
important stuff.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this stuff actually matters, and I really can't deal with you guys spreading misinformation. It's just driving me insane.
Yeah,
it's like whenever you would have I remember one of the last things I seen that I was just like, I hate that this changes my opinion on people so quickly, but it was just like, I could look at somebody's profile, like somebody that's on my friends list, and their profile picture would have like one of the frames that go around, and it would be something like, COVID isn't real, or I'm not getting vaccinated, and I was like, I immediately now know that you're an asshole. So then it was like, I could just like go down and like filter people out. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like that I do this. That's just like somebody walking down the street with a big, like, I'm a dickhead sign on or something. It's just like, I'm an asshole. Come and punch me in the face. So that's, I mean, that's not a healthy way to live, to know that about people. Keep it hidden, and I have to find it out through other means. Don't just tell me you're a terrible person. Let me figure it out over years.
Yeah. It's like wearing a t-shirt, That's it.
It's absolutely crazy. Although, I mean, my fear currently is that I think that a lot of people know that, like, all the young, cool people, all the hip people, we all got off of Facebook. We're all gone. And they're all starting to come onto Instagram now. They're all creeping over to Instagram because we're all like, no, I'm done with you boomers over on Facebook. And then everybody went to Instagram, and now they're starting to sneak into Instagram. And I'm like, no, what am I going to do now? I just have to be fully fledged on TikTok. I don't have another
constantly keep moving.
Platform jumping just to avoid, I don't know, like businesses that are like years behind the mark. You know, businesses that are like, I hear Facebook's a thing that we should use to advertise now.
Really cool with the kids.
It's really cool, and we get a lot of followers. So they're all moving over to Instagram, and they're like, is that trending now? Are we getting some trends on this?
Like, I had noticed viral? I had noticed that a lot of younger bands now don't have a Facebook profile at all, and go through Instagram like completely. I thought
actually 100% like that before.
The way, like, I released that song with Stu because my personal Instagram was literally the only thing that I used to push that song. I still have Facebook, but I'm not on it. I don't use it. It's just the auto post to Facebook thing. So anything from Instagram was always going there. But I like had a relatively successful like single release with just one platform, and I actually also like think of the days whenever we were trying to do far too much whenever me and Stu were in the band together and hit the B button. It's like you felt that you needed to be on Facebook, you needed to be on Instagram, you needed to have a website, you needed to have a YouTube page, you need to have all this sort of stuff. And it's like, if you just like focus on, and it doesn't have to be Instagram, but like if you have a platform that really works for you, if you're doing a lot of visual stuff, then maybe focus on building a YouTube page or whatever. But it's a debate we've had on the show like a lot of times before. It's so much better to do one thing well than try and do 100 things and be like all over the place with it. So
I agree, and I've seen that with certain bands, like you're saying, like younger bands, that I'm watching their music videos, I'm seeing their Spotify listens, and I'm like, they seem quite successful, And then if they have a Facebook page, if I can find them on Facebook, they only had like a couple hundred likes. And it's because that must have been like completely organic of people searching for them, which is hard to come by. It's like no advertising. They didn't put any effort into the Facebook market. And it's just like weirdly they made a page, but they've just left it sitting there and people still find them. But yeah, it is weird. It feels like people are just not... I don't know whether or not they're maybe just picking a platform and they're like, we're driving for that now and we're gonna do one well, like you say, Mike.
Well, I think Facebook partially made this happen themselves. That a lot of bands and businesses just refuse to use it now because of the way their algorithm works. You know,
it's all money.
Yeah,
it's all money.
BGO or with the band, whenever we post anything, we notice that like nobody sees it. If we post it to our own private pages, pretty much everybody sees it.
Yeah, I had that too, and then it was just frustrating because I'm like, what's the point of even running a like, you know, I have a Don Maple artist page. I still post on it, but like you say, if I was posting to my personal page whenever I had one, I was getting way more traction on that. Like I hardly get anything from my artist page on Facebook, and I'm just like, I don't even know why I bother posting to it anymore. Sometimes I just feel like maybe there's one person on there that thinks I'm just not active anymore, and it like convinces me to do something. But I'm more on Instagram now for sure, and Twitter, which we've got in the comments there. Twitter is another platform a lot of people are using. And Instagram is all spam now, is what that's what I'm saying though. It's like Instagram is the new Facebook. It doesn't help that it's owned by Facebook, but it just feels like it's going there, like the exact same place.
We had a conversation off air, and I suppose it's kind of like pretty apt to bring in here now. I actually noticed a very specific thing with that single release that me and Stu done, that track Hopeless that we put out. And this was, I heard rumors about this before, like I've read stuff about this whenever you're like trying to, you know, create posts and stuff for Instagrams, like do's and don'ts of what you're putting up and everything. And it was me fiddling about with that new feature Reels, which is basically meant to be like the TikTok, but for Instagram. So I had made up like these visualizers, just kind of like cool visuals to do with the kind of ghost theme with the single over the top of it. They all look very similar, like colors changed maybe a little bit or whatever, but the whole idea was the same. So, you know, the theory would be if people liked one, they would like the other. So three visualizers I put up, and because people are saying it's a good time to put Reels up, because at the minute is kind of like the Wild West. They're not crushing those posts as much. They want people to see them because they're promoting that feature. They're trying to compete with TikTok. They want people to see the content that you put up. So I put one up and I was really, really surprised. It's only a couple of second videos, so I mean, it's not big numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but the first one got like over 1,000 views on Reels. So like whenever you put it up, it loops. So you're talking like maybe one person could accidentally watch it about 10 times. So, you know, you could kind of divide that up, and then it's like, it's not getting to loads of people, but fair enough. Like 1,000 views on the first one that you put up is fine. Second one, same sort of thing, went over 1,000 views. Now this is what I'd read, but I'd never had confirmation from it before until I can actually still swipe across on my feed and see the views for these three very similar videos. I posted up the third one, but I got something wrong in the caption that I'd wrote or whatever, spelling mistake, or I forgot to tag something or whatever. So I immediately took it down to fix it and put it back up again. The reach was absolutely crushed, less than 100 views. As they just didn't put it in front of people.
Because it was up twice?
Yeah,
because it was up
basically,
twice. And
they could detect that you
before.
took something down and then put it back up again. So, I mean...
They think you're trying to anybody that doesn't, get more people in there or whatever.
So. Anybody that doesn't know that that's a thing, just be careful about that. It's like, make sure that you get your stuff right before you put it up the first time.
Make any mistakes.
Exactly. Make a genuine mistake, you will... I mean, it's like you're spending like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour making like this visualizer thing, and then it's like, and then you throw it up and you make a typo and it's like, oh nope, sorry.
Yeah. Maybe everyone should just treat it like Twitter, where it's just like you can't edit a spelling mistake. It's like once it's up, it's up.
There.
It's just there. Either you take the whole thing down, or you know, whatever. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
sort of things as you're saying, like that Facebook is kind of shooting themselves in the foot. It's all these little quirks and things that people have to find out and like workarounds that it's the Facebook one where it's like if you're trying to link to music on Spotify or link to a music video or something, if you're linking off the site, it's like you have to stick it in the comments, and then is that like an urban myth, or does that even work? But like I've seen so many people like doing that in the past, then it's like people started to twig on. It's like, oh, it seems to get seen more if any links end up in the comments section rather than in the main post and stuff.
I do think it's accurate, but it's like everything, right? It's like it's gonna work for so long, and then they're gonna be like, people are just doing that, and then they're gonna fix it, because the whole idea is we need to stop people going off of Facebook. So like I mean, it's just really fucking frustrating, because it's like trying to use your service to promote my thing, and it's like, oh, you can't give me that on the site. But although they'll try and act like they can, it's like Facebook Music or something. Like, it's like, why don't you just use Facebook Music and we'll really drive that? And I'm like, I don't know, because it's shit. I don't know. I mean, I've said it before, and it's not that I'm trying to it's a bit of a sweeping generalization, but it is such a thing of like a lot of people have just got with the program, got off of it because they realize the shit that's going down, and the only people that are left on there are of a certain age. It's the older people who went on a lot later, and they're getting caught up in it, because some people are still like, they're believing everything on it, or they're not realizing how manipulative it's trying to be, and the people with like the sense are like, nah, fuck this, I'm getting off, see you later, Zuck. And that's it. So yeah, I don't really want to be there in the graveyard of social media anymore. Especially if you're trying to promote your own music, you need to like get with the new things.
Talking to an empty room, basically.
Pretty much. It really is. It's just like, you know, going into an old folks' home and being like, hey,
you guys like rap music?
I got a new hip hop single. Anybody want to listen to this? Is it like Dean Martin?
Facebook really should use that as their slogan. You know, the graveyard of social media.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is now. This is why it's like, you know, I've supported it for so long, but it's like people want to get at TikTok. It's like, man, I would never get at the new successful platform. It's like, if you want to do something, then you should probably just like embrace it and try and figure it out. But I feel like I'm too young for Facebook and too old for TikTok, where it's like I go on and it's like I've had some stuff that kind of like, I say it takes off, but that's such a fucking old thing to say. I just mean got a lot of views, but I'm just like, oh, it's going viral.
Got viral.
I got 1,000 views, and I was like, I'm fucking blowing up here. And then you go to someone else's page, and it's like 5 million views, and you're like, oh, never mind.
You can monetize TikTok videos as well, can't you?
I think so. I mean, everything will go that way. I mean, it will just destroy one platform after another of like, oh, we can make money off of this, and then they'll just do that, cash in, and then the whole thing's dead again. I don't know. Until we eventually get to the point where we realize the best thing to do is to not use social media, and then that's just all bad.
I thought you were going to say like not use money.
Well,
once humans evolve beyond money,
we're already there, brother. Bitcoin, Dogecoin, invest now. To the moon. Hashtag to the moon. Probably don't invest now. It's not a good time.
No, apparently not.
Things are not doing well. They slightly recovered after Elon fucked the whole thing. But like, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's kind of just sat there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm talking about with crypto. Don't listen to me.
I have no idea.
I thought we were cutting into like a finance section or something here of the show. You're gonna give us like the stocks rundown.
No, I mean, don't listen to my advice with crypto. I just feel that it's something that ain't going away. So like, put money in now. Don't listen. Please don't listen to me. Right, I think we're gonna do a segment that I can't remember the last time we did this. It wasn't that long ago, but it's been a couple episodes now. But we're gonna do Smarten Up Dumbass. Time to get real mad. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody didn't.
I thought you nearly spilt your drink there or something.
Well, I did because I really panicked because like I didn't have a beer to open, and then I know that I had Heineken
You went
over
for
here.
it too quick.
Well, no, I don't even want it. I have a glass of wine here that I'm drinking, so like, you know, it was kind of like I forget that I meant to open a beer at the end of the segment, and then now I have a
Fine.
beer and a wine.
Find some company that will sell you empty tins that you can just open.
Yeah, that would
Get
be
a pile of
amazing,
them
actually.
sitting next to you.
That would be super handy. I could probably just use a non-alcoholic drink. It could be a fix.
That's it. That's a good excuse for alcoholism. It's my podcast intro made me have another drink.
But I just feel
I
like
have
it's
to open a beer at the end.
it's not trailer trash enough for me to complain with wine. I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like I need to have the
yeah.
I need to have the Heineken while I complain about stuff. But this is Smart Up Dumbass. This is the podcast within a podcast. That's pretty much just me complaining about things. So this one is just we haven't done it in a while. This is a fucking double whammy. I got two things that I think we all can agree is utter bullshit. And although there's probably a good chance that this part of the video gets cut down after we go live, or or we're copyright striked or demonetized, whatever the fuck. It'll be something. It doesn't matter because I don't make money off it now, but maybe future Stuart will be annoyed that we got demonetized on this. I'm gonna show you a couple videos that really made me mad. To do this, I'm gonna have to mute you guys so that I can play the sound through, and then we will react to them after.
Yes, we'll collect our thoughts.
Reaction video. I hate fucking reaction videos, but this is the best way to get my point across, is to show you what's happening. So let's start off with National Treasure. National
The Nicolas
Treasure.
Cage movie?
National
Was that what that was called? No.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
National Treasure, yeah, I'm pretty sure. The National Treasure was Nick Cage all along. That was the twist. National Treasure, Van Morrison.
Oh God.
Oh.
Don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but
Yes.
let's just let's play the clip. Let's play the clip, everyone. I've muted these guys and then I've already screwed it up. Hold on 2 seconds. The reason I have to mute them is because if I don't, then all the audio will double up whenever they speak, and they'll be like into the abyss, and nobody wants that. So this is Van Morrison with his new song.
Robin Swann has got all the power. He's keeping us in this over 15 months. All I have to say is, if I don't have any power, my power is like extremely limited, if at all. Robin Swann's got all the power, so I say, Robin Swann is very dangerous. 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 Robin Swann is very dangerous.
If you didn't think this was annoying enough yet, it gets worse because then he gets Ian Paisley Jr. up on stage.
Robin Swann is very dangerous. Come on, Junior, you want to get with me?
And he just calls him Junior as well, which is the personal highlight of the whole video for me. On Junior. What the fuck is that accent?
Come on. Come on.
I lied. This is actually my favorite part of the video, where Van really he changes the quote now. It's not just Robin Swann is very dangerous, but he wants to go extremely dangerous, but he didn't warn Junior. He did not warn him, so he just goes for very, and Van Morrison goes for extremely. So it's pretty bad.
Robin Swann is very dangerous. Robin Swann is extremely dangerous.
That was awkward. That didn't go as planned.
Anyway, Ron,
No.
And then if you're listening at home and you can't see this, there is one awkward handshake at the end.
This stops when we say no. Right? That's when it stops. Thank you, Junior.
Well said. Thoughts?
Wow, that was something.
Thoughts, everyone?
The bit I love most is the incredibly awkward hand on the shoulder kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Like we're in this together. This complaining. I mean, I think it will be a hit if you released it. Probably better than most of his material recently. Robin Swann is very dangerous. He done it in a singing voice as well, which is hilarious. Robin Swann, he just scats all the time. Yeah, that was something that pissed me off. And then, like, you watch it and you're kind of like, man, that's my idiot of the week. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, it isn't. He's number 2. How could he be number 2, everyone asked? Because there's some sort of rationale behind his craziness. Whereas we also have this lady.
Yes, vaccines do harm people. By the way, so I just found out something when I was on lunch, and I wanted to show it to you. We were
definitely my favorite part is that she only found this out while she was on lunch, by the way. Just while on lunch. Probably not the best thing to bring into like a courtroom if you just found out new evidence on lunch. Okay, I won't interrupt.
Talking about Dr. Tenpenny's testimony about magnetic vaccine crystals. So this is what I found out. So I have a key and a bobby pin here. Explain to me why the key sticks to me. It sticks to my neck, too.
No, it doesn't.
I got this.
It's
yeah,
not
so if
sticking.
somebody can explain this, that would be great. Any questions?
Yes. So many. Yeah, so that was a fucking crazy lady who thinks that getting COVID vaccines makes you magnetic.
I had not seen that. That was brilliant.
Yeah, so that kind of overtook Van Morrison for me in Idiot of the Week.
There's a slightly longer clip which makes it even better, which I kind of love about American news as well. So basically the newscaster was taking the piss out of these clips live on air, and he at one point he's just like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was just like they can get away with saying anything on the news. It was like, and you know, we joke about all this crap or something like he called it crap on live news. But to get down to the nitty gritty, it's like it's very dangerous, and this opinion is going
very dangerous.
She's a very dangerous man.
That woman's very dangerous.
Yeah, it just made me laugh that he's like, basically like doing a reaction video, but he's on the news. He's like, we laugh at this crap, but yeah, these are dangerous people.
Yeah, I mean that's. I think they have a name for it in the States now, which is God, what do they call it? Like the Dangerous Dozen or something like that, where they're trying to say like they've tracked back so much, like 65% of misinformation to 12 people through social media. Is like really whenever you go back of like all the shares, all the videos, all the actual content boils down to like 12 odd people, and her and the other woman who has a testimony, which by the way, the whole thing is that they're trying to pass a bill to make vaccines not mandatory for like everything, for like children, for COVID, for whatever, because like the COVID vaccine is not mandatory. Like I mean, you can choose to get it if you want to, but like she's talking about even like MMR for children and stuff. Like she wants everything to be like fully optional.
Vaccine,
So, and she's her whole thing is trying to discredit them.
Look
her and this other woman.
I
mean, she just found that out.
Hold on,
she just found out at lunch. She just found out at lunch.
Well, I was gonna say maybe at lunch she just put some maple syrup onto the key. It was like,
I know. I was just like, I mean, I could, if I had a key right here, I could definitely get a key to stick to my head if I wanted to. The worst part is if you go on YouTube, like, I mean, search this later, anybody, and search for like COVID vaccine magnetic or magnet or whatever, you're gonna find a bunch of people who think it's real, and they're gonna be sticking stuff to themselves. I mean,
that should come with a warning though, because see, as soon as you type any of that shit into your search engine, They're gonna think that you're like
gonna get on
an
a watch list.
anti-vaxxer. You're gonna no. Well, you're gonna. This is the problem with advertising. You're gonna get all that information pumped at you because they think you want it.
Yeah, I know. I know. They're just like, oh, you like conspiracies, do you? I feel right now advertisers just have two camps: people who are getting vaccinated and people who are not. And they're like, oh, you're part of the crazy group, all right? Okay. And then they throw adverts at you for like I don't know, bunkers or guns or what, I don't know, whatever people do. Like, I mean, this is no lie. I am not making this up, but there's a thing in America where like pretty much like the majority of people not getting vaccinated over there are a certain type of people, right? they're kind of trailer trash, and it's interesting that like all of the there was so many incentives to get people vaccinated, and they were all things to do with like guns, pickup trucks, like fried chicken and shit.
That's they were
like,
trying to get them in.
Yeah,
There
it
were,
was
like,
all
free movie tickets and stuff as well, like free concert tickets.
Yeah, what
at
the
one
fuck's
point
up
they
with
were giving away.
America? Why are they getting loads of stuff? I mean, we all wanted to get vaccinated here, and they're just like, oh, you get nothing for that? And I was like, for fuck's sake.
We should have kicked up more of a fuss about it. We might have got more from it, you know.
Exactly. It's like if we had have been more like had more conspiracies over there, like I don't know, like
Just standing outside the Odyssey, just going, I don't know, what are you gonna do for me?
just be like,
We got some sort of transaction going on here.
we should have done an episode where I was like, I just got the COVID vaccine and now I'm constipated. That's related. Don't get it, guys. It will back you up for weeks.
It's
Very dangerous.
Whenever you say that, whenever I got the first dose of the vaccine, it hit me like a truck, and I didn't want to post saying that at the time in case somebody on my friends list was kind of like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
no!"
I thought you were going to say it made you constipated.
I actually thought that's where he was going for a second. Funny you say that.
Interesting fact. Yeah, no.
That's very
I mean, I did a
responsible
whole
of you. Yeah.
did a whole episode about how shit I felt after getting the vaccine, but it doesn't matter because I mean that's what a fucking vaccine is. I'm sick of talking to people about it. So many people, even people I know, are just like, well, you just don't know what's in it, and it's like, no, I don't. But I don't know what's in any of the vaccines that I've got in my life because I'm not a freaking scientist. All right, all I know is that it's proteins that are broken down to emulate the virus. It's not that they're pumping the virus in.
Yeah.
I don't know what magnetized crystals are, but I doubt they're in there because I'm pretty sure they would friggin' kill you instantly. Is there not that thing where like if you inject air into somebody's veins, they'll die? It's like, imagine injecting a crystal into someone. Like, I mean, they're definitely not gonna make it.
You know what? See if the magnet thing was real.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I don't get the complaints. Like I'm thinking Magneto, right?
Magneto,
like,
we'd all be
X-Men
Magneto.
sort of, yeah.
You want to go
There
for a
would be-
run? You don't have any pockets. You just stick your keys on your chest.
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Exactly.
You would never lose.
Maybe
them
not as
again.
impressive as Magneto from X-Men, but like still, you
Yeah.
you do technically have a superpower.
It's kind of like Magneto with absolutely no control over it. It's just constantly things like sticking to him, and he's like, "Fuck's sake, I hate this." Maybe that's the way they'll go in the MCU now that they've gained the Fox property rights. What about a new twist on Magneto, where he can't really control it, and like pins just like go boom, and then he has to drink the Heineken, because Heineken can't just stick to his face. That would be me, because my studio is just filled with cans. Like, I mean, that's.
Has there not been a clear out yet? No. From the last time I was there.
There's a bunch of them over here from like previous episodes. I'm holding up 3 cans of the camera right now, and it's like these are just all the times I did Smarten Up Dumbass segment of the podcast. It's the only reason I buy them, which is probably a terrible reason. But yeah, that's I don't know. Should we put it down to a vote? Who wins Dumbass of the Week? Van Morrison or Magnet Woman?
It is kind of close, but as you, I want to say, because there's a flawed logic, it's came from somewhere and he thinks he's being funny. That kind of lessens Van's thing. The woman is literally just trying to stick keys to her forehead. It's got to be that for me.
Yeah.
It has to
Gotta
be.
be the woman, right? Okay, Magnet Woman. Well, smarten up, you dumbass.
Time to get real, man. Time to talk shit about the
right, so there's something I actually want to ask you, Sean, as a gig runner, which they give you a brief rundown if you're watching the show and you've never, been in communication with Sean McCann before. He runs a company called BGO Productions, and they put on gigs in Belfast. I mean, primarily in the Pavilion, but not limited to. And man, if you've listened to the show before, we've always talked about how great BGO shows are. There's something very comfortable about them for me, because I know the people I'm working with are legit, and I know that it's they're gonna get a crowd in. I know that the people playing on the bill are gonna be good. I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, man. We've said this so many times, but it's it's a big thing to me, especially because I hate playing live shows, I really do, and I've played your shows more than anywhere, any other promoter in Belfast, I would say, and that's because I feel at home there. I feel a bit more comfortable knowing you guys and knowing who I'm working with. But BGO put on a lot of shows. Obviously, the pandemic has stopped everything for you guys, and what I wanted to know is kind of your take on this whole, first of all, what you think it would be like whenever we get back to it, and to this proposed date that has been put forward, which, if nobody knows, we were given a date of the 21st of June, I believe it was. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, 21st of June.
Yeah.
Is the word they keep using is the indicative date, which I was like, oh, that's a fancy word. But what they're trying to say is they're going to review the numbers before that, and then they could change their mind. I mean, just look at England right now, where they'd given a date for everything opening up, and then they kept saying, we don't know if that date will be okay. We're worried about that date, and then you get to a couple of days ago and they're like, that date ain't happening. That's 4 more weeks before we can open everything. So that could very much happen, but at the minute we think that live music could start again on the 21st of June. The details that I've read is they're talking about taking away a capacity altogether, live music in bars, the whole 9 yards, the whole thing. So yeah, sorry, that's a lot of questions, but I suppose number one, do you think that date will happen? And number two, what do you think it will be like to run a show at that time? As in, do you think
the early days
you will be able to?
In terms of the date thing, it is kind of up in the air at the moment. It still needs to be rubber stamped by the executive, and we currently don't have an executive because they've dissolved the executive.
Right enough, yeah.
The DUP and Sinn Féin do not seem to be agreeing on who to put forward for First Minister and Deputy First Minister, which means we might be into an election, which obviously means that they are not going to be able to rubber stamp it. So it is very up in the air at the moment with the 21st date. I have seen a few MLAs and I think Hospitality Ulster had posted up about it, saying, the executive need to rubber stamp this, regardless if they can get enough MLAs to. Hey, Andy.
Oh, sorry. If you're listening on your headphones, Andy just magically popped up on the stream. Andy's here. Cheers. We're talking about politics. Yeah, sorry, Sean. Continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So the date is quite up in the air. It's also very close, and from the conversations I've been having, a lot of the venues aren't really completely prepared to start putting gigs on the 21st. I think Black Box might be ahead of the game. I've seen them advertising quite a lot of gigs at the moment. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed that they can get the 21st to go ahead. But my confidence in our politicians is not particularly high in general.
Yeah, who can blame you? Who can blame you?
Massive risk. Yeah.
I don't care what side of the fence you're on, dude. I mean, the politicians, no matter what you support, are just fucking terrible. And I say that with no no worries of repercussions because I'm just like, it doesn't matter where you stand on anything. It's like
Yeah.
the politicians fucking
my
suck.
sort of thinking, and I know it's like a very generic kind of rule of thumb, but like we've always been with every decision that's been made. I feel like we've been slightly behind the game with the rest of the UK. It's like we always let them make a decision, then we copy it.
See
So
how
the
it
fact that
works
they
out.
put theirs back kind of worries me that it's just like
It
just
will
gonna
do the
go
same.
the same way.
Yeah,
You know
of
what I
course.
mean? And they'll use that as well. The science and the rest of the UK have put back, so we will as well. But there is more to it than that, as Sean is
Yeah.
saying. It's like
Wait,
it's
well,
a lot of
it's-
times
yeah.
they're preoccupied with infighting and stuff, and it's like the people are the ones that are losing out because they can't just get the house in order and sort things out to simply rubber stamp and let everybody go back. Because I do think, like, we are a smaller country, the numbers are smaller and stuff. It's like we should still be working
It's
towards
a-
that date, but
It's
I
a different
don't
story, yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, unfortunately. But I mean, I still cross my fingers and hope that it might. You know.
I think Scotland have also just pushed back their opening date by 3 weeks as well. So
That sounds doubtful then, right?
yeah,
Yeah. That doesn't sound good.
It is still coming though.
Yeah, you know, they still haven't
not
said
gonna
anything.
happen. You know what
No,
I mean? We'll get there. It's just gotta keep pushing for it. It's gonna
the fact
happen
that
soon.
the fact they've even discussed it is a plus as far as I'm concerned, because it means at
for
least
sure.
they're aware, like, you know, because they haven't seemed to be very aware for quite
They
a long
have
time.
they have not talked about the art sector in like I don't know how long. Like they have not talked about performance or anything like that, and people have been screaming about it, and we're just getting nothing. So
They're
like,
starting to acknowledge now that there's a whole workforce there that needs to be allowed to get back to work. Like,
yeah, for sure.
a little too
So
late.
before I get into the next section, welcome Andy Nandez. He's here. What are you drinking?
Colorful drink.
So what, I take it you were talking about like lockdown and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah,
we
yeah.
always?
So
we always
was
do.
just in-
I'm
I
still
was-
talking about COVID vaccines.
I was just in Costa. This is a peach iced tea, by the way. Just to let you know.
Swanky.
And I walked in with my mask on. Everyone's sitting. There was people sitting in. People coughing. No one was wearing a mask. Sitting opposite each other. I'm like, oh, this must be a COVID-free zone. COVID doesn't exist in here. That's cool.
That's all right. That's fine. That's fine.
Pisses me off.
Yeah, it is weird. Like I was at the Ark Farm today, and it was kind of like it's 95% outdoors, and I did bring a mask with me, but it was really weird to me. Like I didn't know when to wear it inside because everything inside still had like open doors either side, open windows, and everything. It's like, do I still wear it in here, or like do I have to wear it in here?
Because
there was
outdoors.
well, there was nobody in the place either, and it's like I really can't be bothered. It's pretty warm as well, and it's like there's no one else here. I don't think it matters at this point. Plus, I'm vaccinated. I'm like, well, I mean, one part of it anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird now. It's just like they have a part where you have to walk through the cafe, but it's like literally in one door and out the other. And it's like there's one small part where you're inside, and I have to like find the mask. I'm like, get the mask out, mask on, and then like 1 second, and then mask off again. It's like I could
There
just
is gonna
not.
be that. There's gonna
I
be
could
that
just not
hard-
breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, just I'll hold my breath or something.
There's
and
gonna
run
be
through,
that
it'll be
hard
fine.
transition period where it's like, am I wearing the mask too long now? Am I a complete dork?
Am I
for
the weird
over-wearing
person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Do I become the weird person? It's like, yeah. When did I give
'cause the-
this up?
The people who wore them beforehand were weird. Like whenever it's like,
Like really
look at
early?
these guys.
It's
yeah, like in
whoa.
February,
Yeah,
and there
before
were people
you
wearing
knew it was a
masks,
massive thing. Yeah.
and they're just like, look at these weirdos. I remember
they were
a
on the
guy.
ball.
Yeah, I remember a guy like in a shopping center, and I was going through, and he was wearing like full gear, like one of those really like expensive like breathalyzer
All the
mask
filter
things.
things and everything.
Yeah, and I was like, "What a fucking lunatic!" And then, like a couple months later, it's like, "I wish I had
Where
one
did
of
I
those."
get one of those?
Yeah, I know. It's like, I wish I'd find that guy again. But yeah, sorry. So the second part to the question, Sean, is whether or not that date is to happen, for reopening of music venues. Say it was to happen. What do you think it will be like for you to try and put on a BGO Productions show. How do you think it will work now? And I know there's a lot of question marks, but I mean, just your thoughts on how difficult it could be, what you think the government could throw at you, whatever curveballs you think might come. Just let us know your thoughts.
Can you yourself solve the whole problem right now?
No pressure.
Live on air, solve this.
I've been in touch with our venues to, basically say, we're ready to rock whenever you guys are. Anything we can do to help you get ready, let us know and we'll do everything we can. We haven't had any word back yet because I think there's still a lot of uncertainty of exactly what needs to happen. I think the executive statement had said that if it's an indoor gig, it needs to be seated. People aren't allowed to get up unless they're going to the bar or go into the toilet, and the seating has to be 1 meter apart. So I mean, it could be done.
I know, but still.
We're just not sure if that's the kind of live music experience people would want if they went to see.
Slightly different atmosphere, right?
Yeah. Especially if you were at like a punk gig or a metal gig, a load of people just sitting and doing this.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, I don't think you can underestimate how desperate people are to get out as well.
Yeah.
It's like people might be up for it. like headbanging in a chair. Why not? Sure. It's better than sitting in my house.
Yeah.
I seen this thing about like they're talking about like they hope that this like 500 person cap on outdoor gatherings and stuff could be removed, and then they'll just replace it with risk assessments.
Yeah.
So like I don't know whether that would be the same for indoors as well, but like I'm just imagining, like, I wonder, is there a bunch of paperwork that might come along with hosting a show for you as a gig runner? Like, could there be risk assessments? Could there be a bunch of stuff that you have to fill in now before you actually do something?
Possibly, but I think because we're running inside venues, they would have to do a risk assessment for those kind of events anyway. So I don't know if that would be on us. If we were running it in a space that wasn't a dedicated music venue or wasn't a licensed premises, then we probably would have to do risk assessments.
Yeah. That makes sense. It would probably be the venue does it.
Yeah, because they're doing it over and over again.
I suppose that's a concern then a little bit, Sean. Is like I know we talked about this I think on a podcast like a good while ago, like whenever we were sort of worried about the return for things. But do you think there is any concern of something like that? Like, no venue in particular, but just like if there's gonna be a lot of like red tape around everything, do you think they would just avoid the whole like local shows, like things that maybe might not bring enough people in their opinion and it's not worth the risk? Do you think there is a chance that they might just say,
like, the venue just goes until everything
this ain't
gets
worth
back
it
to normal?
Yeah.
There's always going to be a risk of that happening, I think. At the minute, I'm not seeing any venues that are saying that. But then again, they wouldn't, and it's not good publicity or PR for them to come out and say, oh, we're avoiding live music altogether.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. I really
I
do hope that that's not going to happen. And I think it's part of the culture for a lot of bars to have live music. That's part of a lot of, like, even Sunflower Bar, they have live trap music downstairs. They that's part of the way that they market themselves. That's part of when people come down, they expect that. So I don't think it's going to benefit any venue to say we're not going to deal with that. I think a lot of venues might take it on the chin. Or hopefully some kind of support comes out if that is the case, to help them get through that process.
I did hear that there was something like with this announcement of the potential like 21st reopening of things, they said something about like the final like package or something. To be honest, I'm not that clued into it, more because like at the start of this thing, I was watching the news like way too much, and I kind of stopped, so I haven't like paid enough attention to it anymore. But there was talk about something like to do with like a package to assist the arts and stuff again. I know there was a little bit before, but it wasn't like I know it was nowhere near enough. I know that much
people
anyways,
fall
but
through the
like
cracks, definitely.
oh yeah, for sure. And then there's also people who were getting it that probably didn't need it. And I know that sounds horrible, but I would like to acknowledge it. I know it was happening as well. I know that people like, I even would have seen that I wouldn't consider a full-time musician, like somebody that had another job and stuff, like basically getting money from the government. And I felt a bit strange about that because I was like, well, I didn't get anything. I was like, I don't want anything because I don't really feel like I deserve it. Because like I'm working here, I still get a job, whatever. Like that's fine. I don't need like money to buy equipment or to keep me going through lockdown. And I was a bit like, it's weird. It didn't feel like there was enough came through, and then like some of the people that got it, I was like, why are you getting this? I couldn't understand it. But yeah, I'll put that out. That was just my opinion, but like I was a bit confused about what qualified for getting money from the government for like arts assistance or whatever the hell it was called. I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I hope you're right, Sean. I really do. I think you will be right, because I think it's similar to look at cinema. You know, people were like, cinemas, will they even exist? Like, that was kind of the opinion like a couple of months ago. And there has been such a turnaround now on seeing them being open, well, at least to a certain capacity or whatever. And, like, having, I say box office smashes, but I mean, in consideration of the times, it's box office smashes. Maybe wouldn't be considered that big a deal in the normal world, but right now it's a big deal.
Movies making big money.
Yeah, like A Quiet Place 2, I think did like really big numbers in the cinema, and they made a point of making that just a cinema release. Like, it's not one of these HBO Max, like you can stream it at home, whatever, because that's definitely split.
Thank God for that. I think that was important, like, for it.
For sure, and I know what Warner Brothers were trying to do there, but like, yeah, it was a bit dangerous maybe to cinema a little bit, like giving that option. I don't know whether people, like at the time I was like, I would love a bit of both, like I really would, for my own, like the way that I deal with movies. It's like, if I had the option to pay a bit extra and watch it in my house, if maybe I didn't have the time to go out, or you know, wasn't that fussed about like doing a cinema experience thing, it would be nice to have the option there. But I know that kind of kills the whole it kills the whole cinema box office thing, doesn't it? It's like they'll make a lot less money if that option is given. You almost need to take it away entirely and just be like, no, you got to go out for this for at least like 4 to 6 months before you can get it on a streaming service or whatever. But I think it's the same point with music. People might be worried that it won't happen, and then you'll see how desperate everyone is for something like that. That's
the thing about both of them. You can't. There'll be some people that will just like the convenience of getting those sorts of things in their home, whether it be like artists and bands doing live streams and stuff now, and you can just stick it on a Friday night and drink in your own house, cheap night, whatever, and everything else. Same with movies. There's a lot of movies you can buy now that are supposed to be in the cinema. You can watch them right away. And that will work for some people who are like, I prefer this, I'd rather be in my house. But there's a large percentage of the population who are just like, you can't beat that experience of going to the movies. I'm a big movie dork. You can't beat that experience of going to a live show and like being around like other people that are into the same stuff as you, and like everybody having a great night. That's always going to be there no matter like what else happens. And I think that's why I've always had confidence that it will slide back to some sort of normality, and like it represents kind of what we had before. Yes, definitely things have changed because of it, but I don't think either of those things are going to go away altogether. I don't think.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. What I think we'll do, guys, is we'll do a quick commercial break here, and then we'll get back into a couple of things afterwards. So if anybody needs to release any fluids, go do it now. We'll run some commercials.
How close is your facilities there, Sean? Do you have a big... Stu has the biggest run of all. Like,
mine's like 2 seconds like away.
I'm not actually in my home. My home is like 100 yards
I
that
feel
way.
like this should be like a new feature, like Smarten Up Dumbass. It's like the pee race in the intermission.
Who gets back first?
Who gets back
Yeah.
first? Yeah.
I quite like that, yeah. No, that's cool. Right, so...
Get some like little music or something to play.
yeah,
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I could bring like some sort of first-person camera and attach it to my head, and it'll show me running to the...
Just make sure you look
that's
up.
a bad idea. We'll definitely get shut down by
would
YouTube
get,
then.
You get closed down for sure.
Yeah.
Demonetized right away.
We'll run a commercial break, and we will be right back.
Sweet.
Hey there, fresh-faced creative in a youthful advertising demographic. Does your reading material have a distinct lack of cultural nourishment for your slowly decaying, malnourished soul? Stop! Put that garbage down. Everyone knows you shouldn't get your news from old mediums like paper. That's 2/8 century. Plug into the information superhighway, loser, and read a zine. It's like a magazine, but without all that dumbass paper. Read Stranger Days, the arts and culture e-zine. It's got music, comedy, art, poetry, tarot cards, cinema, Year Spaceship, comics, podcasts, and Tim Carey. Read Stranger Days now, because between you, me, and your trusty canine companion, we know fluffy cuddles and e-zines are the only way to push back the existential dread slowly consuming your every waking moment. Hold back the darkness today with Stranger Days. Available now at strangerdays.wordpress.com.
If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set Bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Sean wins the P race. He's back first.
What do I win?
My respect.
I'll take it.
For sure. Mike in a close second.
How did
although-
I beat Andy?
Well, I was gonna
he
say,
hasn't even been drinking that much liquid.
Andy didn't leave for a long time. He was basically here the entire time and left just before Sean returned. But yeah, you were
I immediately assumed I was going to be back last.
yeah, for sure. Probably forcing out those peas again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should
I
say
go to a doctor, guys?
maybe if you're forcing it out, it can't be good. I really hope that I came up with a rhyme there. If you're forcing it out,
No.
be in doubt. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe something. So, yeah, I should probably say Distant Sound Waves, the playlist you just heard in commercial, therefore, you should go and check it out because at the minute, to celebrate 50 episodes of Six Ep Bro, we have done our top 15 songs that we have discovered throughout this podcast run. Just stuff that we've stumbled across, people that we've got to know from doing the show. And yeah, it was a hard choice, but we did it live on air. So, I mean, that's the 15. That's the 15 we're sticking with. And we went with it. Sean made the list. He made the list, who's on the show right now with Civil Simian. What song did we pick? Brittle? Yeah, that was me because that was my favorite Civil Simian song. Still is. Nightlight's a close second. Yeah, I definitely love some Nightlight. But yeah, I think it's second to Brittle still. Brittle's still up there.
I think at one point, Nightlight was about to overtake Believe as our most played song on Spotify.
Seriously?
Which was shocking.
Wow. Believe's very high, although Believe, I always say this thing of like Believe to me sounds like a Robbie Williams song. Like I don't know why, but it's the vocal.
If you took their instrumental sort of
just imagine that it's Robbie
like
Williams
somebody else
singing it.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh, all right. That's Robbie Williams. Okay.
Rue did say that he used to be a very hardcore Robbie Williams fan, so...
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Rock DJ. That video was controversial.
Is that the only one you remember?
I don't really. Millennium.
Yeah. Oh.
That was about the
song.
That was about the Millennium.
Everybody had one of those. You just said everybody had a song called Millennium.
Millennium. No, except for Will Smith. He had one called Willennium, and that was the best. That was really good. I had that CD, Willennium. It was really good, actually.
That's a guy who likes to put his name on things.
Oh yeah, for sure, including his daughter. Willow. Will O. This is Will O. Jesus, Will Smith, what are you doing? Just being an inspiration for us all.
Just being rich and famous.
Yeah, just being rich and famous and overweight, like you get the people, but then also losing that weight because you can pay for like 1 million personal trainers. It's like, oh, respect to Will Smith for showing that he's not in shape anymore. It's like, yeah, he's gonna be in shape in like a month. It's like, he's gonna get like the top trainers in the world to like sort him out there, and he'll be fine.
You're missing the message. You're missing the message.
Oh, it's all about the message, man. Being an inspiration, I get it. But
don't unfollow him now.
No, that's just unless I discover that his first name was actually Joe Will Smith. Joe Will Smith. Joe Will Smith, then I'll unfollow because I don't like Joes.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait for the day that we have a Joe on this show.
We won't because I won't
guarantee I won't like him. There's something about him.
I will not allow it. Look, guys, I came up with this game that might be really bad and not funny, but I'm gonna try it anyway for the first time here.
Sounds like fun.
Also, right, I came up with this genuinely on my own. And then looked it up and I was like, oh, people already do this. I really hate that about the world now. It's like I keep thinking I have good ideas and then I look it up and it's like, already exists. Whoops. So yeah, I came up with this thing for rap songs because there's always so many swears in them. And I was like, you know what would be funny? Doing like, you know what Mad Libs is? People know what Mad Libs is. It's alright if you don't. I'll explain it. Mad Libs usually are given like a big paragraph of like, you know, I don't know, just words of like stuff, whatever. And they leave blank segments where they tell you have to fill in your own verb or your own noun or whatever, and then it makes a story. And you've created part of the story, and it can be funny if you like insert words and you're like, oh, that was crazy how I put that word in. So I was like, what if we took all the swears out of rap songs and we did Mad Libs and we made them Rap Libs? So that's the game in honor of Tupac's 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Tupac.
So we're going to take the piss out of the genre?
Happy birthday, Pac. Pour one out. I took some lyrics from Hit 'Em Up, because there's a lot of swearies in there. There's a lot of swear words. And so I took those and I took the swears out. And then I have created a Mad Libs from it where I'm going to go round the room and you're going to have to be good at your grammar. If you don't know what a verb or a noun is, then we're in trouble.
I'm awful.
Okay, I will help explain them to you. If it's wrong, I'll just say it's wrong. So we're gonna take a verse from Hit 'Em Up, and we're gonna do Rap Libs. So, I'll ask for this list, and I'll fill them in as I go. So we'll start with Mike, and we'll go around in some kind of direction, clockwise. Yeah, right. So the first thing I need from you, Michael, is a verb.
A verb.
A verb is a doing word.
Yes,
kids.
I'm good. I'm gonna go with drinking.
Okay, we'll just go drink. Because I think what you're doing I can't remember my A-level English that good, but I think drinking is possibly an adverb because you've got the ing on there. So I think it's
English lesson. I like it.
I think it's just
I'm learning.
I think it's just drink. Drink is the verb. I think drinking is potentially an adverb. Could be wrong.
Still sounds like a rap song.
Yeah, for sure. So, Sean, I'm gonna ask you for a noun, and that is just a thing, a something. A noun is a something word.
Guitar.
Guitar. Okay, for sure. We'll put that in there. I should probably put these in capitals so I know which ones are the Mad Libs.
Literally just looking around my room, like,
yeah.
Guitar.
What can I see? Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether this idea would actually work, and I had to test it with my wife earlier, and that's exactly what she did. She was just, like, looking around at a certain point because she had to do all of them, and it's like that was too many. Andy, I'm gonna need the name of a group of people. Just a group of people. It could be like chefs or bakers or clowns, whatever you want it to be. It's just a group of people, plural.
It's a profession.
Youths. A group of youths. Damn them youths.
Okie doke. Mike, Money Michael. I'm gonna need a noun from you. That's a thingy. A thingy word.
Thingy or a thing.
This is great content, guys. This is great content.
I'm gonna go Anchorman style. I'm gonna go lamp.
Lamp.
Guess
Love
what's
it.
in my room to the side.
Love it. Lamp. Okay, Sean, I'm gonna need a verb, which is a doing word, but in the past tense. So if it was drink, then it would be drank.
It's a Kendrick Lamar song. Drank.
Drank. We'll do Kendrick next week on Rap Libs.
I remember Joe Santagato doing this. It's very funny.
Oh, Mad Libs, yeah, like not Rap Libs. I mean, this is totally original,
Yeah.
but yeah, Mad Libs, yeah, they are pretty funny usually.
Never been done before.
I'm so
kind of-
struggling.
I'm kind of doing the opposite of what Joe Santagato did. He took like actual Mad Libs and then just put dirty words in them, but I'm kind of like taking the dirty words out and like putting normal words in there to make it okay for my son to listen to.
Yes, because every episode so far has been okay.
Yeah. He does. He watches me whenever he's going to bed.
Walked?
Walked, yes. Yep. That's going to be interesting.
I can see where this is going. Are we good? Are we bad?
Andy, I need a verb.
Run.
Run. Mike, a group of people again.
Carpenters.
Carpenters. Just like Jesus Christ himself.
The main man.
The main man. My main man. Sean, a verb in the past tense. I think again. Is that the same thing that you got last time?
Jumped.
Jumped. Yep. It's all coming together.
How long is this verse thing?
Nando's. I know I'm
There's a lot of
suddenly feeling
swear.
like
There's
it's
a
too
lot of
much.
swear words in it.
There's too
obviously.
many swears.
That's actually, yeah. I also would hate to be a viewer tuning in right now and like, what?
What's happening? What's happening?
Is this countdown or something? Is this?
Nandez, I need an adjective, which is a describing word, kids.
Humping.
What? That's a doing word. That's not a.
Sorry.
That's a verb. I need something like colorful or juicy.
Oh,
Or
well, there you go. I'll put juicy down.
Juicy? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna work. That's gonna be nice. Mike, a noun, plural. Which is like things. I'm not gonna do all this, because clearly made the verse too long.
You did. No.
Sorry. Saws. I make everything too long.
It's like intros.
Yeah, like every singer I've ever made is like 5 minutes. It never feels like it's gonna be that long, and then it is.
Dogs.
That's what she said. Dogs. Yeah.
Everybody likes dogs.
And kung fu fighting.
I know. I feel like this is gonna be too rappy. We've got drinking in there, and we've got dogs. My dogs.
So yeah, I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah.
Some of this isn't gonna sound
still gonna fit.
Yeah, it's not gonna sound out of place at all. Right. I only need a couple more, guys. Sean, a part of the body.
Hand.
Okay.
We'll keep it clean.
Yeah, keeping it clean. Andy, a verb, a doing word. Do you want humping in here?
Yeah, I'll do humping.
We can put humping back in.
I was dying to use it.
We just wanted to use it.
In celebration of Hump Day.
It is Wednesday, exactly.
It is humping day. Mike, a part of the body again?
Uvula.
Uvula, yeah.
What is that? Should I Google it?
Oh dear. I need a verb, Sean. We're almost there, guys.
Oh, that's alright. That's not dirty.
Leaping.
Or leap.
Yeah.
Andy, a noun plural. I think we all get one more go.
What's a noun plural again?
So like a thing, so like things like tables or chairs.
Oh, okay.
I done dogs and I done lamp.
Oh yeah, we're keeping it clean. Okay.
Hey, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
It's all right if you don't want to.
A tennis racket.
Right. And it's plural, so I'll go tennis rackets.
Tennis rackets.
Tennis rackets. Mike, a verb in the past tense. Like walked or sipped.
Swam.
Last two, right? So Sean, a verb.
Skip.
That's weird. My wife used skip earlier.
Does he get extra points for that?
Sure. I don't think there's any winners.
There's no winners in this. No.
There's no winners in this. Definitely not the listeners, anyway. Noun plural.
It's literally been 20 minutes of, and now you say a word.
Now you say a word. Noun plural, Nandez, and then that's it. That's a verse. Man, verses are long in rap.
I'm just impressed by the amount of swears.
Yeah, for sure.
Cats.
Okay. Yep. Right, yeah, already. Yeah, you know what would make this more effective? I'm definitely not going to do this now, but maybe I should rap it next time. Maybe I should, like, throw down
it's
a
a little bit on the spot, isn't it? Yeah.
Or
I'm not prepared.
Or get the instrumental of the song that you're going to do.
And I have to sing it to it. Yeah. Right, okay. Right, so
save it for next week's show.
This is
and we're done for the week, people.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so this is Hit 'Em Up, the clean version by Six Up Bro, featuring Sean McCann on bass. I don't know whether I should do it like Tupac and do it really aggressive or something. So like,
Probably.
First off, drink your guitar and the youths you claim. West side, when we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a lamp, but I walked your wife. We run on bad boy carpenters. Jump for life. Plus Puffy trying to steal me weak hearts I rip. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, some juicy bitch. Is. How did that rhyme? Oh. Oh, I left bitches on. Sorry, everyone.
I was gonna say.
No, I didn't realize.
Sorry, Al. Apparently this is clean.
Sorry, Alex. My son. We keep on coming while we running for your dogs. See, that still works.
Yeah, it works.
Steady gunning, keep on busting at them fools. You know the rules. Little Caesar, go ask your homie how I leave ya. Cut your young hand up. Leave you in pieces. That was a line, by the way. Hand kind of worked there. It wasn't too bad. Now be deceased. I can't believe that's a line for real. Now be deceased. Fuck's sake, Tupac. Lil Kim, don't hump around. What? Lil Kim, don't hump around with real G's. I'm pretty sure that works out the exact same. I'm pretty sure it was fuck before, so like you've just made it the exact same thing.
You've just
Lil'
cleaned
Kim,
it up a little bit.
don't hump around with real G's. Quick to snatch your ugly uvula off the streets.
I'm so using that as an insult.
So leap in peace. Whatever that means. I let them tennis rackets know it's for life. So let the west side ride tonight. Bad boy murdered on wax and Swann. Skip with me and get your cats peeled. You know, see? That's it.
I
Freestyle
feel like
poetry.
it's like one of
Yeah.
those like
It was like beat
death
poets.
poetry jam sort of thing.
Lil' Kim, don't be humping around with real G's. Quick to snatch your ugly uvula off the streets. Fucking, that's the best.
Definitely been said somewhere in a smoky room.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was Rap Lips. I thought that went okay.
Went
That's
alright,
not a
yeah.
that's not a bad idea for a game. It kind of took too long to come up with the words.
Yeah.
Maybe I should send them to you guys beforehand or something.
Yeah.
Advanced words that we get sent or something. Yeah, getting your dirty uvula off the streets is definitely something. That's something I kind of want to say forever. Get your dirty uvula off the streets. I fucking love it. That's really good. That's a good one. Speaking of le hip hop, anybody see Tyler the Creator's pack?
Lumberjack.
Lumberjack, yeah. I seen a thing. It's weird. I had it in my notes to talk about this week on the episode that people were speculating he was coming out with stuff because he had like a big billboard up in I think it's in California somewhere. With what people are speculating is gonna be the next album title, and it's annoying. I should have written it down. I forget what it is now, but it's whatever it was. He had it written on like a briefcase that he brought to the Grammys. So people were like, Jesus Christ, like he had that planned beforehand. It's like he had this little thing down. What was it? I can't remember. Somebody'd have to look it up for me. Young Michael. You might need to check what that is. Young Michael.
Sorry, I was checking my work phone there. What am I
All
looking at?
right. Okay. Were you that boring?
No, I just also have to check my work
I
phone.
was so bored. I was checking in on work. You guys got anything for me?
What am I googling?
Tyler the Creator new album. And see if there's a phrase that comes up because he had it written on a briefcase.
That's
I'm
like
sorry.
the best way to tease stuff, isn't it?
It was cool, yeah. I like
because they do that in gaming conventions as well. Like Phil Spencer for Xbox usually has like something on his shirt that's gonna be the big
like a little hint
headline, yeah,
I
or something
stuff
like on the
that.
back shelf or something.
I feel like I know Mike doesn't really know what he's looking for here. Sorry.
No,
It's like a
it's
phrase.
internet adverts and stuff all over
right,
whenever
okay.
you go onto NME and stuff.
Gotta love it. But yeah, so he's releasing, it seems like he does have maybe a new record in the works, but he released a single called Lumberjack. And I say a single, but it's very much like, I don't even know what's going on in it. It's so quick. It's like a minute long or something, and it just seems like a teaser thing, but like, it's like the perfect mix of, like, Igor and, like,
And like
what's the other, like, goblin stuff, like, you know, the old school goblins. It's like they're coming
Flower
together
Boy?
to make something else, yeah. It's like that that aggressive goblin stuff mixed with the nice flower boy Igor stuff.
Dude, I find the picture, but it's like a picture of him with the briefcase and it's open, so you can't see what's on it.
Hold on. I will find it now.
Yeah, did it. Let's go.
Yeah, sorry, I can't do two things at once.
So, you done? Whilst you look for that, I just read there that I don't know. This is obviously big music news, I guess, but Sony Music is writing off artist debts.
Oh.
I was actually I didn't know if I was gonna not show up, but Sony Music has cancelled the debts of thousands of artists who signed to the record label before the year 2000. So, I mean, I don't know what that
Before the year
means.
2000?
Yeah.
Jesus, right, okay.
Do you think that's anything to do with like music contracts and stuff were really fucked up back then?
Maybe.
Probably.
Like, artists probably weren't making an awful lot of money. Probably ended up in debt even if they were big.
So and
Yeah,
it says
that's
it means
possible.
that many will now, for the first time, earn money when their songs are streamed on services like Spotify or Amazon Music.
Right, okay.
So that's good boy, bad boy Sony. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, are they ever good? Do you know what I mean? Are major labels ever good thing?
As to what are they getting out of this? By the way, it's call me if you get lost. By the way, sorry. Just find it. It was weirder. It was harder to find than I thought. There
wasn't it? Like I've got like loads of pictures, and like half of them are like all different angles of him opening the briefcase.
Yeah,
it's like you can't actually see what's on the top.
So yeah, the story is that he brought the briefcase to the Grammys and it had that inscribed inside, but he was actually promoting Igor at the time, because it said Igor on it, but it had that in small text, and then there was a billboard that showed up in California somewhere that said, "Call me if you get lost," and if you phoned the number on the billboard, you got a snippet of the song, which I'm pretty sure was the song that ended up being Lumberjack, which is pretty cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah, it was a cool little marketing tactic. But yeah, you can check out the song now. But it is such a, it's like that early Goblin stuff or the Wolf or whatever, mixed with the Igor stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool mix. I like it. But it is just like a minute of pure chaos, and you're like, what happened there? So hopefully he gets some new stuff out soon anyway. And that's all for hip-hop news.
Wouldn't it be great to be like an artist that is that big, where you could do something as complex and like frankly annoying as that for fans, and like people will actually like try and find where to go for they'll actually chase the mystery. Because I'm just laughing at myself because like I done it in a single that I released recently, and it's like it was more for me than anybody else.
Yeah, nobody was
like,
ever
I
gonna
love the
find
fact that there's an Easter egg in my music, and there's stuff sitting out there somewhere, and it's like
I think
nobody will find it.
Yeah, if we tell people enough, maybe they'll get intrigued. But like nobody's ever gonna find that thing.
Yeah,
you showed me how to find it, and I forgot.
Yeah, you don't even know how to find it.
I forgot how to do it, and you taught me. You told me how, and I was like, "How do you get that again?"
It was a little bit too much of a bit too much of a mystery. It was very very dorky and like So you have to do certain things. Yeah.
To know how to code, you have to build a program. Tony Stark
like
built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Is this like the new thing? Dumbing down music, but making the way to find it complicated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the
I
new
love it. I love
Pretty
it.
good.
And the song is only like a minute long, and it's just like, yeah. You gotta throw one of those in every once in a while. Yeah. Travis Scott, straight up. He loves to say straight up. Or be 21 Savage and just say your name over and over again. 21. 21, 21, 21. Just got like, you should have been a fucking blackjack dealer. 21. Ayo. Got him. So what I want to talk about that's not something dumb, is your your new, well, I say new, your upcoming EP, Sean. Counting Leaves, that's the title,
Yep.
yes, unless it's changed. But
No.
that is the name, right? Yeah, that's okay.
Please tell me if it does. I need to send you your artwork.
Yeah, just for everybody at home, Sean's got a debut solo record coming out. I say record and EP, like, and our very own Money Mike, cha-ching. Can't be bothered finding the button. Where is it?
Sorry, you've already done it once this show.
There it is. There it is, cash register. Money Mike.
I'll just have you know, this isn't written into my contract or anything. This is all Stu. I demand this noise be played after every mention of money.
Every damn time.
Yeah.
He designed the artwork for Sean's EP, which is very cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very eye-catching. I don't know what I was gonna say there, but it's really cool. I really like it.
I thought you were gonna ask me what's wrong with me or something.
What's wrong with your head? Why'd you come up with this? Anyways, the artwork designed in-house by our very own Money Mike. And
starting to hurt. Is that normal every time you play that?
It probably shouldn't be that loud. And yeah, we got how many songs on it now, Sean? You've changed it recently. It was gonna be 3 and now it's 4. Is that right?
No,
or is it 4 and now 5?
No, I think originally it was going to be 4, and then I realized listening back to it that one of the songs really did not fit with the other 3. It's a 3-song EP and a single, which will come out at some point.
Yep. Okay, I understand now. Because you told me one of them was going to be a single. I thought you meant it would still be on the thing, right? Okay. Cool. So 3-track EP, one's a single. Completely like on the table here, cards on the table. I listened to it right before we went on the show. Sean sent me a link a while ago, although I only just got the chance there before we went on. And, man, like, seriously. It was really good. Me and Mike talked about it before you came on here, and I'm ridiculously impressed with it.
Thanks, man.
It sounds so good. Like, even the production. Like, I want to ask you a lot about this. Like, I want to ask you about the production. But the first thing I need to say is I suppose the last track on it now, because I thought the 4th track you sent me was going to be on the EP, but it won't. So the last track, Underneath the Trees, which I believe is where you get the title of the EP from, Counting Leaves, comes from a line in that song. Yeah, man, that's my favorite one, and it sounds like it should have been on the Tarzan soundtrack. That was like some Phil Collins shit, like whenever he was on his jungle thing, whenever he's doing that. That's what that sounds like, and I love that era of Phil Collins. But that was the vibe I was getting. Not necessarily Phil Collins, but that it could be on a Tarzan soundtrack. But that was my favorite song.
I know what one you're talking about. It's so immensely relaxing, because I remember before Sean explains like where he was going with it and everything for the music, as like I remember like being a little bit daunted whenever Sean contacted me to do the artwork and stuff, and it was kind of like I can't remember exactly what you said on your message, but it was something like, I kind of like the stuff that you do. You'd seen it on my Instagram or wherever you had seen stuff. It's like, I kind of trust you to do whatever you think for it. And I was like, I've done things for people before, but like you usually get briefs and stuff. And it's like, it's cool as an artist to go just, whatever, like be an artist, do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh shit, too many options. And it's like, if this person doesn't quite get where I'm coming from or whatever, it's like we could be two completely different paths. Yeah. But then Sean sent me the tracks, and I was like, I was sitting listening away, and I was telling somebody this before recently, because like it's just like, so I don't really do commissions very often. I have done them a couple of times for people, and it's like, to get complete free reign, it was a little bit scary. But then it's like, Sean sent the tracks, it was like I was immediately inspired, and like I knew what I wanted to do, and I hoped that I was going the right place for Sean. But I basically drew and did stuff while listening to that music, and in a long roundabout rambling way, all I want to say is I was so chilled out, zoned out, relaxed by listening to those tracks on the EP, and they do really pair up very well.
Thanks.
I know what you're saying about the other track maybe coming after or whatever, but yeah, I'll let you take it away.
Can I just like preface this by saying it's a good thing that Sean didn't send me the stuff to do artwork, because I definitely would have just did Disney's Tarzan and him sliding down a tree trunk, and that would have been the cover, but with Sean's face.
But also Phil Collins in the background,
Just like randomly there.
Yeah, you
just watching on, nodding approvingly.
Yeah, and there would have been a bass in your hands too, and you would have been sliding down the tree trunk with bass, with your face on
I'm
Tarzan's
starting to worry.
body.
See, this is the thing. I'm worried now that maybe he would have preferred that artwork.
Think it better describes the music.
I know where you're going with this. I get it. I
think I might commission that for the next single or next EP
sure.
that comes out though.
Look,
Or
I'll
the
put
tree
it.
could be the bass, and you could be sliding.
Oh,
sliding
he's sliding
down.
down a big old bass. I love
We're
it.
spitballing here, guys. The ideas are flowing.
We got something. I think we're on to something. I'll be available if you want to send me something, but it probably will be like hit with some copyright issues from Disney pretty quickly. Just warning. Yeah, sorry, Sean. Tell us about. First of all, why did you decide to do a solo EP? Where did that come from? As the bassist of a funk band, how did you come to the conclusion that, you know what, I want to do something on my own?
I've always recorded stuff on my own anyway. I would demo a lot of songs to send over to the guys from Civil Simian, and if they like it, then we'll work with that and then develop it as a band. But I think it was mostly after lockdown had kicked in. I was kind of like, I need a project. I need something to do musically, because I haven't really been doing much, and specifically of my own stuff. And I think I set myself the goal, because a lot of the stuff that I've written before has either been either heavily political or incredibly heavy. And I said, okay, I'm not going to do either of those things, and I'm going to try and make a nice EP of nice music.
Fair. Any hits similar to Robin Swann's Very Dangerous? Robin Swann is very dangerous. Oh, Andy missed it. He's confused. Sorry.
Morrison?
Yeah. Morrison.
Yeah.
I was
Morrison.
in the car watching it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, watching in the car ride home. Love it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a hit. Sorry. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just because we were talking at the top of the show, like how hard it was for everyone, after the initial 6 weeks, 2 months novelty or whatever wears off from people, and it's like, okay, still kind of stuck here in the house or whatever. It's like, to know that those songs were all recorded during that tough time, really is hard for me to understand, because it seems like you're in a good place. Honestly, it really does chill me out listening to that music. It's weird. I don't know.
I felt like I hadn't delved in lyrically enough, because there was I felt like
my
a lot
advice
of it
don't.
There's maybe certain stuff I'm focusing too much on the instrumental and stuff, and
there's very much love song. It had a lot of love elements. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Don't know whether it was. You don't have to tell us, Sean. You're the songwriter. The mystery lives on, but unrequited love in some aspects of it, I would say. But yeah, for like I said, cards on the table. It's one listen. But the music is beautiful. But the lyrics, very much a lot of love elements going on. A lot of love.
The positive thing that I was taking from it, what I'm saying about being in a good place and stuff, it was that whole concept of the whole the title of the EP and stuff with the counting leaves is to me, and again, don't explain your music, you shouldn't have to, it's fine, but for me, what I took away
You
from
will
it,
get to explain it in a second, don't worry.
yeah, we tend
That's
to
all
talk
from
maybe
Sean.
a little bit.
That's all from Sean.
I'm just here listening, just going.
Let him explain his song.
What I was gonna say was, it's just for me, what I took away from it was very much about appreciating a single moment, the whole thing about sitting under a tree and watching leaves in the trees or them falling or whatever and counting them and like just appreciating like a single moment in time seemed very peaceful to me, if you know what I mean. And that's where I got like this hard stuff is happening and everybody's going through this, and it's like, to me, I just pictured you kind of writing it and like being in a good place and appreciating a very specific moment in time sort of thing. But I don't know if that's all where it came from, but I was really kind of connected with that song as well. Stu saying it's his favorite. I was like, I really like that song too whenever I listen to it.
Andrew, questions?
Or were you in a bad place and the song is where you want to be?
Well, this is
a combination of both, probably.
Or were you trying to sell the song to Disney for a Tarzan reboot? Just tell us now. That we got 3 different theories here, Sean. Tell us where you were at. Where did these songs come from? Yeah, for real. Let us know what you were thinking whenever you were writing these.
Not just that single song, but like in general, the EP.
Lyrically speaking, I think that that was kind of the idea, as Mike had said, of, you know, somebody had posted this recently and said the advantage of getting older as a musician is that you have a lot of experience that you can reflect back on and use that for material to write about. So I think I was doing that a lot with the lyrics. The music, honestly, I was just kind of fucking about. I'd been listening to a lot of Jacob Collier for the last year.
You're gonna say the Tarzan soundtrack? Really put money on it? Sorry.
So a lot of the songs started off as just vocal harmonies with no instrumentation at all in them, and then instruments were added as I went along.
That's pretty cool.
Whatever I thought might work.
Yeah, I did notice a lot of like I don't even know how to describe it, but
oohs and
like
ahs and
boom ba-doom, 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 boom boom boom, and then like all the vocals layer up on top. If only all 4 of us could be on point for that, we should all do a 4-part harmony.
Let's not try that.
Let's not attempt that right now, for sure. That's a bad idea. But yeah, I did notice a lot of those like little growing vocal like ad libs almost. Like it was veering on scatting. Like, but it's not scatting. It's much more Tarzan-y. Sorry, I'm really stuck on this fucking Tarzan idea. I'm sorry, I'm not selling this very well.
Stu's just trying to get you a job with Disney because it pays the big bucks.
It does, that's true.
I might have to email them after this then.
Get that Mickey Mouse.
I've got the CP, about to release it, but you could buy it off me.
No, I did notice the vocal harmony though. It's prevalent like in the very first song straight away. Like it's the main element that comes through.
Yeah.
And the thing that I thought was it sort of took me by surprise, I think, was your it's your low vocal, like your baritone. Like yeah, you're really using that in a lot of songs, and it's actually very impressive whenever you hit them.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm like, is it all Sean? Because I know, like, you can call on the Civil Simian guys at any moment. I was like, is there multiple voices? No, there's not multiple. There's not multiple voices in this.
It's all you, right?
Yeah.
Every instrument other than drums, is it? Or
there's one track. It's going to end up being 2 tracks where Marty from Civil Simian played guitar on them.
Did he play guitar on the track in question?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, sorry, the one I was talking about before.
Underneath the trees.
Underneath the trees. Sorry.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to say counting leaves. I kept wanting to say the title of the thing. Yeah,
it's already stuck in your head. That's a good thing.
I felt like whenever I listened to it, and this says a lot about Marty from Civil Simian. He's the guitarist, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know. But it says a lot about him as a guitar player because I listened to it and it's like, that's Marty on guitar. I knew it was. Like, I knew it. I'm glad you said that, though. It sets me right now. I was like, I'm not going crazy. I was like, that's definitely Marty on guitar. I know that. It's his style of playing or something.
There is one guilty admission I have to make, which is I think I only played a normal actual bass on one of the songs from the EP.
What were you playing? Weird basses?
MIDI. No, it's MIDI.
MIDI keyboards. Yeah, right enough. Right, okay.
There's a brilliant program I discovered called Trillion, specific for bass. There's a fantastic acoustic bass, like stand-up upright bass.
Yes, yeah.
Sound on it that I used for quite a few of the tracks on that.
Do you find, because I kind of thought that was another interesting thing as well, and it was weird for me kind of only having made music, like solo music in lockdown, so I never kind of knew any other way, but not saying that you're a purist, but do you think that like lockdown and people by themselves having to like replicate whole band things whenever they're putting stuff out, like kind of forced them to go different directions with sound? Did it like have any influence on you as to choice, or was that like the song's going this way anyways, so I'm gonna use MIDI and stuff? Or like were you at first, it's like I want to have all proper instruments on this sort of thing? Because the reason that I ask is because I know from like different various bands that we've met, like gigging on the scene and everything else, sometimes people can be too rooted in, oh, it has to be all proper instruments, and like if you're using like DAWs to replicate things, you know, for some reason you're doing the wrong thing, which is not like music as expression. You can go any way you want. I wonder what your thoughts are on that, like how you feel about that.
I mean, a lot of the instrumentation was based on what I had lying around the house for the most part. But I've been using a DAW for, over a decade and a half now to just record various things. And it's always the case of, well, if somebody else has already made some, like, a patch or a VST that's better than what you could do with a live instrument, then why would you use the live instrument? It's the overall sound is more important rather than kind of going, oh no, like, I managed to play that,
Yeah.
Very true.
I do feel like there is a lot of young bands that are to almost like it defeats what they're going for. Sometimes they're almost too purist. You know what I mean, at the start, and it's a weird. Like I always like to sort of say where I've tripped up like in the past with things, because if anybody is watching this that is kind of just starting out, it's like, don't make the mistake, skip that bit. It's like you can learn from that. It's like don't stress too much about like what is right and what is wrong, because that's there isn't that.
It's the whole argument of analog over digital, right? And it's been an argument forever, but one piece that I keep coming back to that I think is a good explanation of why it doesn't matter, and this is not specific to an instrument or a VST or whatever. This is just a project. So if you take someone like the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl had that whole thing whenever they made Wasting Light, and he was like, we're gonna do it all on tape, and he made a big deal about doing it all analog, all on tape. Probably a lot more effort than it needed to be, because it sounded so digital at the end of it, because they put so much of it through through all these things afterwards to make it a commercial release, and it's like it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, it's whatever you want it to be. Like, I mean, Mac DeMarco, whenever he started, his whole thing was like, how do you sound like Mac DeMarco? He's like, record on tape. Like, that was his thing. He's just, you fucking record on tape. That's what you need to do. And although, yes, watch a video with him now. Like, everyone watches the old documentary. He records digitally now for a lot of stuff. I mean, he changed his mind. He's like, I was such an asshole to be like, you can only do it this way. It's like, there's such a variety of ways to do things, especially if it's easier. Like, how am I going to afford a tape machine? You know what I mean? It's like, I can't get a tape machine in here. I can't record everything analog. I can't get a big reverb plate. I have to do digital because I don't have enough money to do it. And I think telling people to do it one way is just irresponsible, especially of big artists. Be like, this is how it sounds really cool. Is like, you have to have a tape machine.
I mean, if you have access to that stuff and you want to try using it,
experiment with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time,
totally,
as you've said,
be a barrier.
If you want to make music, being a purist about the final version of the song is important, not how you got to that point.
I agree.
There's various, manipulations that you can do digitally that you just couldn't do otherwise, or that if you could do them, it's going to take so much time and effort and multiple people to do the editing and cutting things together. It's like, you don't need to do that.
It's the whole idea of recording on tape just seems awkward if it's not worth it in the end. Like, I would say that whole Foo Fighters record, definitely not worth it.
Yeah.
It seems like way too much effort that they went and did all that, and Butch Vig sitting there cutting up all his tape and shit. And I was like, what was the need? It sounded like you recorded it anywhere else. Like
it probably went, as you were saying, it probably went through a digital process beforehand, and then they put it on the tape as the final thing. It's like, but that's
I would
not
guess so.
how tape. You know, that's not the benefit of using tape. You kind of have to do everything analog if you're gonna do that. You know.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. But yeah, I mean, I think, oh god, we're like 2 hours 15 minutes into this.
Can I just ask something?
Yes,
so,
of course you can.
Did you were you gonna do this before lockdown, or was this because of lockdown that you done it?
The EP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I always wanted to do something for myself.
And did lockdown force you to do it?
Yeah, pretty.
And second question before you answer that. Just on that, I know we were joking about it before, but your feelings whilst making the song, like how you were actually feeling during lockdown, and does that go into the music, or is the music, like I said before, a flip of how you were feeling?
It's probably more of a flip. I said before, whenever I started doing it, I made a point that I was going to try and make something that had a positive vibe to it, not something that was necessarily emulating how I was feeling at that point, because I didn't need to be any more depressed than I already was at that time. So having something positive that I was going to be listening to over and over and over again as I was producing it and recording it and working on it, definitely helped, and through going through the process put me into a better frame of mind.
It's crazy. It's like if Sean here had like a massive team of people behind him, record label, everything else, and was able to get that music out like last summer when he was creating it, it's like I feel like it would have done so many people so much good, because like me hearing it is like it's what I needed to hear whenever I was like feeling a little bit low, if you know what I mean, because regardless of where you were, you done a very good job, as you're saying, about putting music out that is like it does radiate positivity and relaxation, if you know what I mean. And that's still gonna apply whenever it comes out this summer. Like, I mean, I honestly, for anybody that's listening, it's like it's definitely something that I think people need to hear. You know what I mean? It's gonna be good to me.
Yeah.
I always like to put certain types of albums and music on whenever I'm doing like relaxing stuff around the house, whether it's like drawing or like we were talking at the top of the show about like dabbling with animation and everything else, but I'd sit down on my computer and I'm like focusing on a task, and it's like something that I really want to chill out to. Perfect EP for that, definitely. 100%. It just kind of puts me in a good place.
You're saying about like the tracks have been going for quite a long time. I've been sitting on this EP, and I know you talked about the Bo Burnham special last week, but I do have to kind of mention it again. There's a point where he says, I think I'd posted it in the comments actually last week's show, where he's talking about, he's been spending so much time on this project, he's realizing that if he stops doing the project, then he has to go back to dealing with real life. He says, so I'm just going to do it forever, just like never finish it and just keep working on it, And whenever I saw that, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I'm going to cry.
To realize, I bawled my eyes out most of the way through that, to be honest.
I get that.
It became like a driving force, and just to have like a goal or whatever. Yeah.
Do you remember what I told you at the top of the show, where I'm like, I'm already planning my third record ahead of my second? That is my workaround trick to that, is like, I can finish projects because I've already got like 5 ahead of me. And that's how I know I'll never be done. I've always got something.
And then just a sidebar of a question, because I had with the Sony thing and stuff, and I usually like asking artists and stuff, local artists, about this. would you join a record label immediately, or would you like to go independent for a bit?
That's a good question.
Oh,
It is a good
independent. Independent.
I respect that. I do.
Now, is it because, has it always been that way, or has this past year made a shift in that, where independent artists are now coming at the end if they've gone through it, better in a way?
I don't know. It's like I've always kind of been mistrusting of the music industry, with good reason. It's not a particularly pleasant industry when you get to the bare bones of it. Some people can get a record label that are completely understanding, that give them as much freedom as they want and need, but that is very, very rare. And for me personally, I think, well, I wouldn't like to necessarily be told, well, you need to get 3 EPs or 3 albums out in this year, otherwise we're dropping you. It'd be a lot easier for me to go, no, I'll go and experience stuff and then write music, take as much time as I need to get it to where I'm happy with it, and then put it out,
and promote yourself the way you want to promote yourself. So
well, that's another thing, actually. I know we're kind of verging on a long podcast here, but
I've only just got here. I've got loads
and he's got reams of questions.
I got nowhere to be.
It was just like an interesting thing, because I know we did touch a little bit about it in messages off the show, Sean, but Andy's saying about promoting yourself the way that you want to be promoted. I think that we did connect a little bit with how that bit is, it's fun for some people but not for everybody. The whole PR side of it, but we always talk about the whole grassroots thing. It's like you have to be absolutely everything. You have to be your PR. You produce the music, you make the music, you write the music, whatever. Like PR is definitely a thing that people find a daunting task, but I know the reason that the EP is coming towards the end of the summer is you want to be prepared for that. Can you sort of say a little bit about like how you feel about having to do self-promotion, and is there anything that you find that's made it easier for you? I know I was talking about like in a previous show there was like a paid for app. Now again, you're given a budget, but people throw money into Facebook advertising and stuff. There was an app that made things easier for me to schedule and automate posts to Instagram. So it took, like, I have a daytime job, so it took me away. Like, I didn't have to screw with, like, stopping work, like, proper work that I'm paid for, and trying to post up stuff on Instagram. And it still made it look for me like I was constantly active whenever I was trying to promote a single. Have you came across anything like that? Do you have any ideas or thoughts of how you're going to do stuff, and how do you feel in particular about having that burden on you promoting your own music?
I already know how he does it. He rolls a D20 for charisma.
If it's a natural one, I do absolutely nothing.
Bringing it back.
If it's a 20, I'm screwed. I'm losing 3 months of my life.
Sean, answer that question. I'm still listening. I'm gonna go pee in my garden. I'll be right back.
In terms of an overall plan for promoting it, I don't have a huge plan of action for how that's going to work. In general, I'm going to try and follow the same patterns that most people do. Send your forwards out to as many bloggers, radio stations as possible, at least a month in advance. Try and get feedback from as many people as possible along the way. I have had a few ideas in terms of trying to do different marketing things specific to certain songs on the EP. One of the ideas was to live loop to some extent me performing one of the songs, and then use that as a marketing video for the EP itself. But most of the admin stuff is the boring stuff, like getting your tracks registered with IMRO, getting your distribution sorted out, checking your everything out with Spotify, making sure just that everything's ready to go on day one of release, rather than after release going, oh crap, I meant to do this, I should have got on top of that.
There's a lot of people that maybe, well, I don't, there's definitely a few people that watch a podcast that don't know that side of putting out music. There's a lot of form filling out, isn't there? And yeah, getting, like, as you say, like IMRO and like IRC numbers and all this sort of stuff. It's like basically it's numbers that you have for your song, Andy. Like if you register them, it makes sure if you're doing everything properly and doing all your accounting right, it makes sure that like if your song is played, the money does come back to you, whether it's like a matter of pence or whatever. But if you do all that form filling out right, you're gonna have like a budget for your next song that you're putting out, like no matter how small it is or whatever. But there is so much admin, especially if you're doing it on your own. You don't have a team of people, and that's we've talked about this on this show before. It's like the sad thing about grassroots music is that I hate. I see so many creative people that put out amazing things, and it's like if they had. In an ideal world, everybody would have their record label that would click with them, or their people or whatever. They would have a team doing all this stuff for them, and there's people there that are probably wasting so much of their creative time. They're very creative people. They could be putting out so many cool things, and it's like they're having to fill out forms, they're having to do this, they're having to do that, they're having to do all these other jobs which they're kind of having to learn on the spot. And it's like they would be so much better served doing what they are 100% good at, what their God-given talent is, you know what I mean? And it's just it's sad sometimes that you get so preoccupied with stuff, and then you, especially as a musician, whenever it comes to PR, you eventually learn over time that you can sometimes waste your time on stuff. Like we're talking about how Facebook is dying platform and stuff. It's like how many times whenever we were learning and coming up have we posted stuff to Facebook and spent like, even if it's like 5-10 minutes or something, writing a cool post that we think might engage people or whatever, but it gets crushed by Facebook, and it's like those 10 minutes could go somewhere else, but that all escalates and inflates like over time, you know what I mean? Music PR is like a crazy, no wonder people get paid.
It's the worst.
You just need a TLDR nowadays. It's just
TLDR.
Let's go.
That's true, but you don't know where to do it. That's always my point.
Everywhere.
I know, but that's the thing is that, I mean, we said this earlier, is like we used to do things everywhere, and it was like it was a bad call because it was like we were half-assing it over every platform instead of full-assing it on one. That makes sense.
Go full ass on everyone.
Go full ass. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's no answer. I mean, that's the annoying thing about PR. There's no answer of what is gonna work. You just need to try stuff. I guess
the best thing that you can do, but it's going to cost you a lot of money, is to get your stuff to a PR company and let them take charge of that, because they know what to do. They know who to contact. They're able to get your stuff to the right people, and they've developed those contacts, which is what you're paying them to, for. But it is a lot of money, so you kind of need to be like, okay, I definitely want this. I definitely want this to get as far as possible. And a lot of people kind of go, I just want to put music out.
For sure.
To me,
I mean,
that's
where I'm at. I mean, I don't care anymore. Although there's also the sorry, I was just gonna say there. No,
that was weird.
That was weird.
Like some Twilight Zone shit.
That was so weird.
I'm leaving.
Interruption.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. There's 2 of us on the show. There's no need for me. I'm away.
Oh dear God.
Oh man.
But the other thing you could like, I know you said about PR.
I think it's proper gone.
You said about PR and stuff and like paying for PR, but when you're, for me personally, I mean, obviously I'm not an artist or anything, so I'm just a listener of music. Like you're doing now, like you reached out to Mike for the artwork. You can reach out to your mates that will do stuff for practically nothing. And build from there if they're willing to help, and everybody grows as a circumstance of that.
Yeah.
So I personally think grassroots, that's the best way to do it.
Especially if you're just starting out, paying over 500 quid for a PR campaign on your first single is probably not a smart idea. You are better off trying to gain that experience, or at least make contacts with people who might be able to do that for you, either cheaper or ideally if they're happy to have their name plugged for free.
Because then if you're paying, like you said, if you're paying that amount of money that quick, that early,
yeah,
you give up halfway through your journey to
it's
becoming...
not sustainable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
it's
start
not.
getting the stress way too early instead of having the fun first with your buds or whoever you're doing it with. And then if it picks up, to the moon.
yeah.
Hashtag to the moon. Dogecoin's gonna do it, boys. You know what I think is interesting though, for like the position that we're in as a podcast, that I mean, essentially we do promote artists. Like, the whole idea is to give people like yourself, Sean, a platform to talk about what you're doing. But I have been in positions where, like, if I want to get an artist bigger, or what certain people feel is bigger than what we do, it's like, what can you pay? Like, as in us as a corporation, what can we pay for it?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's also the position of the people that want to be on the show are sort of like, nobody's ever asked me, but like, how much does it cost? Like, I really want to come on, is what I'm trying to say. It's not that I've actually been offered money to come on, but like, it's funny where it's the difference of like, if you go too big, they're like,
pulling a Joe Budden right now? Are you?
I was gonna
finances?
say, it's like backhanders from artists.
talking about finances. Well, I'm essentially saying, if we go too big, people want us to pay them to come on our show, is what I'm trying to say. And then crazy. Like, there's people who are like, I would really like to be on the show, and it's like, man, this is so fucking weird. I should do it because I like doing it. All right. It's like, can you just like let it go? Like, I mean, I like promoting people if I like their music. I want to talk to people because I like talking about music. Me and Mike clearly could just talk forever about the same things because we're like cybernetically enhanced twins or something.
There's a wire here somewhere.
So that's why we started a show where there's an outlet for us talking about music, because our significant others are bored of it and they don't want to talk about it anymore. So we do this show where we talk for 2.5 hours about music. But it's just weird. It's like, why is it like, oh, you want to talk to that person? It's gonna cost you. And then somebody else is just like, what can I do to get on your show? And it's like, what is happening? What is happening? Where am I?
It's
a Twilight Zone.
I mean, it's the same for whenever we're promoting. There's certain bands that we approach, and we know that the first question they're gonna ask, which they should be asking, is, how much are you gonna pay me for this?
For you promoting them?
Yeah, for us to put them on for a gig, which is a fair question for somebody to ask if you're booking them.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay.
But at the same time, like, it's one of those awkward conversations that we do have to have, where we say, we don't get paid to do this. We literally, whatever we make on the door goes between the bands. That's what you're getting paid, which gets looked down on quite badly, because they're like, I mean, they must be, skimming money off the top or making a fortune. It's like, if I was making a fortune, I wouldn't be living at home. My parents' house,
Yeah. But I mean, we actually talked about this a couple of episodes ago, this exact thing of like, I think the comparison I was trying to make, which I know we talked about it, I'm not going to do the whole conversation again because it'll be a repeat then, but I was comparing it to something like the photographer industry. Like, somebody who starts out as a photographer, I'm not saying that it's any easier, like, I'm not trying to say that at all, but it's almost slightly more acceptable for a photographer to tell you their prices, and then you accept those prices and say, yes, that's it. Whereas as a musician, it's not as simple as that. Like you say, you're somebody who puts on a show based on the love of doing it. It's not like you're getting paid a weekly wage or something like that where you can go and do this thing. It's like, look, I don't know what I'm gonna pay you. It's really based on how many people come, which is a really hard conversation to have, because then certain people are like, that's fine, and other people are like,
I'm a musician. I want to get paid for my work. I
see,
need to know how much it is. Whereas compared to something like photography, it's like you can say up front, if you want me to go and take these pictures, this is how much it is. And that's that. Like, I mean, there's no head count. It's like, you know what you're getting into with photography is what I'm trying to say.
We did have one band.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say,
God.
we did have one band that whenever we asked them if they wanted to play a gig, responded by saying, "I don't think you could afford us."
Oh.
Well,
okay, fair enough.
Oh, wow. Right, okay. Right.
As you say, like, asking what I'm getting paid is fair, but, like, yeah, that is kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah, being a pretentious
who do
twat
you
about
think
it.
you are?
Yeah.
There's knowing your value and then being a dick.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
for sure.
the whole problem, especially with like Sean putting on gigs and dealing with bands, especially bands that have never met Sean before, because there is this whole thing whenever you're coming up in the music scene, it's like you especially with like doing gigs for people, I don't think there's there's no YouTube video for going on and finding out who's legit and who's not. You kind of have to learn that just by making mistakes. There's nothing that this show or any show could help younger musicians with bands in that regard. It's like, we're not going to be able to tell you. You'll find out on your own. But this whole thing with Sean putting on a gig for a band that maybe he hasn't met before, as he says, like it's a fair question to ask what you're going to get paid, because it is definitely a thing that is instilled in bands now. It's like, know your worth.
Know your worth, yeah.
You know, and right away you should be like, this is a job. It's a legitimate profession. I need to, be asking about money and stuff. But then the other thing on the other side, which makes it difficult and makes this all a gray area, is you need to know who's asking you to play the gig and what situation they're in on the other side. So there is some people who are going to take advantage and are going to go, well, we can't pay you, we're not really getting any funding, whatever, you come down and we'll see what we can do. And then they avoid you the whole night, or they're not even at the show that you play, and it's like, good luck getting your money.
Not naming any names there, Michael.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Money,
Not at all.
Michael.
But I know
We
two
all know.
promoters who've done that, to be fair.
We all know. We all know.
And then there
fine.
is the difference. This is what I'm saying. It's hard for people, and you have to kind of navigate that on your own. And then there is the people who are putting on gigs, and it's like, this is financially devastating for me to do this in the first place, but I love music. None of us are really going to make any money, but let's keep doing it and see if we can make this a thing, make this a regular night, make this something that people love, and get everybody on board. And we're all collectively trying to do this together, and that's the whole thing, where there is certain places, certain people in different sort of areas that are all trying to do this, and it's like, whenever you see somebody that's actually trying to create a music scene, we've talked about the likes of the Stranger Days blog and their podcast, and those guys that are doing all that sort of stuff. They are tirelessly working hard, and there's other people like that as well, for nothing, basically. And it's an awful lot of work, and I don't know those guys' situations. I'm pretty sure maybe they have their own actual jobs that they get paid for as well. It's like, everybody's juggling. Whenever you come across people like that, it's like, you have to really hold those relationships dearly, because like, those are the people that care. You know what I mean? They're still doing it whenever there's other life priorities. They're doing it for little to no money.
For sure.
Like,
And I mean, it shouldn't even be spoken about in, like, it's so hard, but it shouldn't be spoken about in a commendable way so much, to be like, oh, look, these guys are doing it for the love of it rather than anything. But I know Andy has actually pointed it out as somebody who is not involved in the scene, but is just saying it from an outside perspective, where it's just like, it's almost like it's musicians are almost overburdened, or people involved in the music scene, not necessarily musicians, I suppose, but like, you're overburdened with this sense of responsibility that you need to know your worth, and it's really difficult to navigate that, where it's like, yes, you shouldn't be taken advantage of, but at the same time, you shouldn't be like, you can't afford us, like Sean
denying opportunities.
yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing that I feel you need to know going into the music industry is anybody, there's almost like two levels. Anybody on the grassroots level doesn't have shit. Doesn't matter whether they're putting on the show or whether they're performing at the show. Nobody can afford anything. They're all living in a box on the street. Like, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's like nobody can fucking afford anything. Whether they're making the music, they're putting the shows on, it doesn't matter. They can't afford it. So, like, you know, if they're sending you home with £20 for your night, they're doing it out of respect. It's kind of a like, look, this is how much we made. We split it up amongst the bands evenly. We're not trying to screw you over. We're not giving anyone more than anybody else. We all made a small amount. That's what it is. But, like, you can't go in expecting hundreds.
No.
But you shouldn't go in expecting nothing.
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it's really hard to know that, and I feel like
That's what I mean.
Andy, even as like an outsider to the thing, he was kind of like, look, sometimes you got to do it for free. And I feel like that's a hard truth for certain people to understand, is like they almost feel like that's a dirty phrase to say, is like, you know, look, sometimes you just got to do something and maybe you don't get anything, but that's that. Look, it happens. It happens, man.
There's I've found in most recent years, as we are getting older and like been involved in the music industry for quite a while, some of the most important things are collaboration. You know what I mean? You get to know people, and it's like if you're doing the thing right, like from the outset, as soon as you set up a band, the first thing that you should be doing is getting out in your music scene and meeting people. Like that is the most important thing. You need to know people. You need to know like who else is putting out music. You need to be actively interested. You need to be listening to people's stuff. You need to be talking to people. Whatever, you make relationships. You build relationships. And I'm saying about like collaborating with people. It doesn't just have to be collaborating on a song. That does work. You know what I mean? If you collaborate on a song with one other person, that's two people actively promoting a song together. That's double your reach. That's double the effort. Everything else. But it doesn't just have to be a song. It can be like people putting on gigs and stuff. If you come across people like Sean or whatever, you know what I mean? It's a relationship that you've built there. You're working together. Again, you're trying to like build a music community. You're trying to build people that support each other and build each other up. And this is the whole goal of the podcast, is like, look at our music scene here. You know what I mean? It would take on pretty much any music scene in mainland UK. There's so many talented bands. There's so many talented people. You know what I mean? And we together as a collective should be shouting from the rooftops about that and trying to get people's attention, not just in this country, but like further afield, because it's like, hello, you know what I mean? We're over here. Somebody listen.
For sure. I get that.
Deep.
That was deep. That all went too deep.
Answer
Andy's
this
got more questions.
No. Answer this as short as possible, because these two up
No,
here
no,
talk
no.
for fucking ever.
20 more minutes, and we will have
It's
a
like
3-hour podcast. 20 more minutes, and we can do 3 hours.
It's
everyone.
like it only equals about 2
See,
more
they're going
rants.
again. They're just.
He does a rant, then I do a rant, and then we're at 3 hours.
What I understand the music industry to be is one big egg. And you crack that egg open, and what you find inside is love, everyone. I don't know. I'm deep in a bottle of wine. I'm deep in a bottle of wine, everybody. This is all I got left. I started full, and this is all I got left.
Get your dirty
Sean,
uvula.
what are your
I can't even
thoughts?
say uvula.
Get your dirty uvula off the streets, Michael. Money, Michael. Andy,
dear.
ask a question really quick.
Hi. So, I know
I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna mute myself.
Fuck, man!
He just can't help it. He's a talker. He's just going to continue having a conversation with himself.
Has the just coming out of this, with gigs potentially coming back, hopefully later on this year, like fully, have you ever thought, or have you ever done, because I'm naive to all this, so variety shows, would you ever consider that, like having music, then having comedy, then having, you know, like stand-up? Have you ever thought about that, or would you do that now that you see the way that everybody likes to go out for variety? I think,
Yeah.
like, people would want to go, let's go here for music, oh, let's go watch a movie, and then let's go here. But if you had a show that provided, just say, 3 different styles of art,
Yeah.
then you would get more people staying in that one venue and then helping yourself and other artists out. Have you ever thought about doing that, or?
We did for a while. We were putting shows on in the Sunflower Bar upstairs that were a mixture of poetry and music.
Yeah.
And what is he doing?
I kind of hope he's recording this so that we get the other side of the conversation. He probably hasn't thought to do that though.
We
It is very distracting. Yeah.
we had talked at one point about. I'm not going to look at the screen. We had talked at one point about doing more kind of variety show based stuff, but we never really went fully into that idea. We bounce a lot of ideas around about weird shit that we could do. A lot of the time we either kind of do half of that idea because the idea is too insane to actually pull off, or it gets buried underneath new ideas as they come up. But it is something that we might look into whenever shows come back.
It is hard because even like even some grassroots stand-up comedy and stuff isn't like as well attended as it should be for like the talents of some people that are. But see, for anybody that's just listening to this episode, the whole problem is that Stu has muted himself, but has continued to talk in the top left corner of the screen, and everybody wants to know what he's talking about because he hasn't stopped. And
Into another microphone.
I feel like he's like just switched feeds and he's hosting another podcast. He's talking to a different audience. Yeah, that's definitely what's happening. Look at the expression on his face. He's talking to somebody. He's not talking to us. How is he going to know when to come back? Does somebody need to message him?
I don't know.
I mean, he can still hear us, though, can't he?
I think.
I'm starting to worry that maybe he can't.
But anyway, see, before he does come back on, I hope everything opens up quick because I would love to get back. I've been to a few of your shows over the years, and I've always had fun at them.
Awesome.
I've always enjoyed the music at them. So yeah, it'll be grand to actually go back to a live show and, you know,
Get back to some form of normality.
get back some form of normality. And then because I've been doing this podcast with, you know, Mike and Stu for so long, I've got to hear stories and my opinions have been out there. I would love to like meet people in person and talk then. You know what I mean? It's there's just a different vibe. Fuck, he's taking it away. It's just all about him, isn't it? It's just all about fucking Stu.
No, man, you're 100% right, though. The thing Stu was saying earlier was BGO shows feel like home, not just for the people performing, but for the audience as well. And I think that's, like, you guys have got, like, a regular audience there, because I know from playing those shows, it was like, you know, you start out in a band, and everybody does it. You're bringing your friends. And then it's like, you know, we played a couple of shows for you that you had put on. And it's like, you started playing shows, and it's like, people were coming up and saying, oh, like, I love your music and stuff. It's like, I didn't bring this person. And that is like, whenever you're starting out and you're a little one, and you're playing your music and stuff, it's like, that's a cool feeling. That's like, oh, okay. Like, there's other, and those were people coming back because a BGO night is kind of like a guaranteed cool night. it's not just the bands that feel at home, it's the audience that are coming. It's like they kind of know that the music's going to be quality, and it's going to be a fun atmosphere, it's going to be a relaxed atmosphere and stuff. And I know you were sort of saying you're not counting your chickens and stuff. You don't even have, do you have like anybody on the hook for like, if we don't come back immediately, it's like you're going to be back for like one of the first shows or anything? Do you already kind of know what you're planning to do, but you just don't know the date? Or is it just like, we don't want to make any plans yet because it's too early to say anything like that?
For live gigs at the minute, we're not making any plans until we hear from our venues and they say, yep, you can work away.
You don't want to let anyone down, sort of thing, basically.
It's the effort of organizing the show, booking the bands, getting the posters and everything else sorted out, and then it being pulled at the very last moment. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. We are currently working on a project at the moment, which I can't go into a lot of detail on because we're still finalizing it, but we're trying to do some work with a venue called Accidental Theatre to try and do something with music, hopefully live down the line, but it's very early at this stage. Yeah.
God, it's just so frustrating watching, hearing them do this whole extended lockdown thing, and watching literally yesterday, watching an international football tournament take place in a crowded stadium, and me walking into a coffee shop today and no one's wearing a mask. It's like, do you think setting a date is just gonna? Anyway, fuck it.
What's the difference?
Too late to start talking.
Robin Swann is very dangerous.
Is that what you were saying the entire time you were muted?
Robin
just with
Swann
various
is
different
very
props.
dangerous. He is? I mean, we don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. Sean, do you have any questions for us before we wrap this up?
I guess, yeah.
How many glasses of wine has he drunk?
I'm sort of doing this like your classic job interview. Do you have any questions for us?
No, it doesn't
How
have to
much
be
does it pay?
music-related, nothing.
What's the salary?
Can you afford me?
Oh, shit. Do you want to tell us who that was? No.
Fourth host.
No.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't expect it.
We're very lucky that I have horror stories for days about bands, but if I told you any of them, I think that either you would know who they were or they might see it and then give me a pile of shit. But yeah, musicians are great to work with.
I believe it. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, some of them are the worst.
Yeah.
And I know that, and I don't host gigs.
I still love working with them though, regardless of any issues we have ever had. Like the positive experiences far outweigh any temporary negative experiences we might have with people.
Totally, man. And that's like I said it at the top of the show, I will say it again. BGO Productions, like, I don't know how to say it without it sounding like I'm just like pandering to you because you're on the show, but like for sure, like I genuinely hate playing live shows. I'm just not good at it, man. I'm like, I've got a lot of nerves around it. I'm very anxious about the whole idea. I feel pretty comfortable playing BGO shows, despite the whole like stage fright thing, and that's down to the guys that run it, and it always feels like a good time. I feel really comfortable around the people that are there. Marty does the sound 9 times out of 10, and he's fantastic at that.
10 times out of 10.
Well, I was gonna say 10 times out of 10. I don't know who else is doing it. Like I made it sound like there is a chance somebody else might do sound. That's unlikely. Marty's gonna do it, and he's got the sound on
fantastic.
point. He doesn't make you feel weird about it. There's so many memes about like trying to get your sound right, and I get that as a musician. I've worked with really strange sound men before, and they've been dickheads.
Oh no, Marty's very strange, but I mean he's the nice strange,
In a good
Marty's
way.
the best.
Yeah,
He
in the
might-
best
Good
way.
kind of strange.
He's the best, and he might have a lot of outfits, but that's fine. And we
Like
accept
in a
him
single
as he is.
gig. Like
In
I'm
one-
picturing like outfit changes
Wardrobe
now.
change, yeah.
Wardrobe
Like this is
changes,
the sound check outfit. and then this is the first song
sure.
I fit.
Yeah, Marty's cool. I think we should get review on a show. Now that I'm just thinking of it, like we should get review on. Marty plays in review, and he also does sound for BGO. He's one of those people that multitasks like Sean does here. But for sure, like BGO Productions, man, just like hit them up whenever things open up again. Like no matter what stage you're at, Sean is a good guy.
Hit us up on the Facebook page. Don't message me, please, please.
What age are you? 69. Ew.
or Instagram. Just don't message me. That's what I'm saying.
And then we gotta I gotta ask. Although I know you don't. I'm pretty sure you don't have it. Do you have a release date for the solo EP?
Aiming for end of July, early August at this point, but I haven't confirmed an exact date because I want to make sure I get. I'm still waiting on one piece of guitar coming through to finish everything off completely.
Interesting. After being someone who just listened to it, I'm interested where that guitar goes.
Oh, where is that?
Where does that guitar go?
The 15 seconds of the third track, maybe.
Yep.
It's very perceptive of you.
Go for August 13th. That's my birthday.
Oh, selfless! What the fuck?
What a selfless guy! What a selfless guy!
Works for me. It's 13 days after my birthday
it's
as well.
Close. It's in and around.
What the fuck was that?
Mike's trying to make that cha-ching. Money Michael. He's always thinking about himself. Right. Well, I think it should come out in the summer, personally. Not that I'm telling you what to do.
It does sound like a summer record.
It sounds like a summer record. I think it should be relaxing vibes of the summer. That's just my opinion. We need to get Andy a link to this. You haven't heard it yet, Andy. We need to get you a link.
You can send him the link that I'd sent you.
Yes,
should work.
Available for 7 days. Nobody else is getting exclusive 6 Bro listening party. Yeah, right, okay. I think we'll wrap this up. Check out Civil Simian. Check out Sean's EP whenever it drops, which could be any time in the summer, but we know it'll be the summer. August 13th,
Put a pin in that date.
Maybe it's July.
This summer.
The 12th of July. 12th. The 12th of July is when I'm dropping. There's nothing else happening that day.
This is why we don't do 3-hour-long shows. We don't have the stamina.
And we also don't drink a full bottle of wine during that show.
Yeah,
This is the real reason why Andy showed up late.
It's the reason I drink water all day.
For sure. Oh god. Right, okay. Civil Simian, BGO Productions, all good stuff, man. That sounded so patronized, sorry.
All good stuff, I swear.
It's all good. It's all good stuff. I'm just gonna start playing the outro music because I don't know what I'm gonna say anymore. BGO Productions, Sean McCann, Civil Simian.
All good stuff.
Things that we discussed, all good stuff. We'll catch you next week. On Wednesday, another humping day. I've been your host, Don Maple, with the Hungry Ghost, Monty Michael, Nandez, and Sean McCann. Thank you for joining us, Sean. Thank you very much.
Oh, Yenner was track of the day. I'm sorry, we didn't get to talk about it. Next week. He was on listening earlier. He's in the comment section. Don't cut it off. It's fine.
Who are we shouting out this week, Michael?
The Yenner. He done a song featuring Miranda Claire as well. And he's got the lights going.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Hurry up.
It's a song. Listen to it. It's our
really
track
good.
of the day.
It's track of the day. Look it up on Instagram. Okay, that's all we got for 6 Bro. BGO Productions, Sean McCann, Civil Simian. All the things he's involved in.
Listen to.
All things that are good. The 6 Bro. See you next humping day.
Oh dear God.
All right. That went okay.